Yeah, it's going to be up and down. Are we live? We're here. All right, we are live. Welcome in. It is the best day of the year, Selection Sunday. I hold in my hand the 68-team field. It is a piece of paper that has been printed out, and I'm on cloud nine. This is, I got to say, before we start writing the teams in. Mm-hmm. And by the way, that's what we're doing on the show today. We're just Reegs is on the couch. Tate is joining me as he typically does. White Boy Rick, I invited 5 different times. He said he would be here. He said it was an opportunity of a lifetime. Then his Indiana Hoosiers did not make the tournament. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he's taking it out on us. I don't know if I don't know what happened. I talked to Rick. The show will go on without him. It's fine. But just full disclosure, I did invite White Boy Rick. I was hoping for like more. There is a very obviously open seat right there, a microphone that's not being used.
I even wore an Indiana shirt.
Yeah.
In support of White Boy Rick.
He looked me in the eye and he said, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. I wouldn't miss it for anything. But we saw that those were just words, and his actions certainly speak louder than his words, and he is not here. But we move on without him. We are the objective today, someone in this room is going to fill out a perfect bracket. Mm-hmm. Someone has to. And that's why I wanted more numbers. I wanted more people in here.
Stack the deck.
Now it's down to us.
It's like you know, like when bands write a song and like there's a guy that's like working the craft services table, and he was like in the room when they wrote the song, and he's like, I need a writing credit because I was in the room. I want to be that for someone else's perfect bracket. So I think the more people we get in the room, someone hits a perfect bracket. If I'm in the room with them, I had a perfect bracket is what I'm saying. Or that was the logic behind it.
Or more people, we could just combine all of our right picks.
That's right.
We should make it combined.
Somebody had it. Somebody had the upset. We'll do a few thoughts out of the top. This always takes forever, which I'm fine with. This is my favorite day of the year. But what I was gonna say, I don't even think I finished my thought. I was starting earlier. This moment right here, before I start writing any teams to advance, is like the greatest feeling in the world to me. It is like the promise, the hope, the who the fuck knows what's going to happen, all of it. It's like the next like 5 minutes. I just want to soak it in, man. You see the bracket and you're just like, anything could happen. We're about to get 67 games to determine a national champion. I love it so much, and then I ruin it by making picks. Yeah, wrong. Because I ruin it, and then I soil the whole feeling by
like halftime of the first game on Thursday. You're fucked. But right now, there's a part of you that thinks, what if
this exact moment in time is the best moment to be a college basketball fan? And everyone's like, what about when the games start? As a reminder, I'm a prisoner of the moment. So when the games start, that will be the best time to be a college basketball. But right now, it's fucking awesome. So we're gonna fill out brackets. That's what we're all three gonna do our own brackets. But like we said, it's sort of a team effort. You know, it's a divide and conquer type strategy here.
Some of us got to get it right.
Someone's got to get it right. Some broad points before we dive into each game and start actually writing on these things. North Carolina is the big surprise. You guys both agree with that? North Carolina making it is like stunning.
And West Virginia being left out. Yeah. Which goes obviously hand in hand. That's the biggest surprise of this all.
Bubba Cunningham coming on television to explain how North Carolina made it, and then North Carolina athletic director Bubba Cunningham. And they fucking crazy.
And they were the first play-in game announced. So it was just like everyone from the beginning, it was just like, wait. What the fuck just happened?
Yeah. There was no suspense. There was no, it was just.
Especially when Louisville was the 8th seed, where everyone's like, well, that can't be good for North Carolina.
Yeah.
I was waiting for them to put
the logic doesn't track because usually you get a read on like how they feel about certain conferences, right. And the ACC. I mean, that was the talk. The ACC all year. It's not as strong as it usually is. But you're wondering, is the committee gonna? Louisville won what 27, 28 games, 27-7. Mm-hmm. Clemson also won a ton of games. Duke won a ton of games, and you're like, how is this going to to the committee? You see Louisville as an 8, and you're like, oh, they just fucking hate the ACC, obviously. But then. They love North Carolina, so wild. We need to get a...
The best thing Bubba said was they took into account that Tucker DeVries is injured. His injury.
Yeah.
From November.
Yeah, he's been injured.
He's been out the entire year.
You have to factor that in. You have to factor that in.
So then you're like, all right, well, do they weigh the conference tournament results? Because North Carolina, despite, they lost in humiliating fashion with the lane violation against Duke, but also you're like, all right, they took a 1 seed to the brink. They did win the game before that. Like, they showed a little bit of life as compared to a West Virginia team that lost to Colorado.
Right.
Maybe that was ultimately the tiebreaker. That's what gave North Carolina the push. But that makes no sense because Michigan just won the Big Ten tournament. They got a 5 seed.
I hate to say it, but Michigan got fucked. Michigan was a 4 going into today, and then won the Big Ten tournament, and they said that's going to be a 5.
Michigan won 3 games to win the Big Ten tournament, and correct me if I'm wrong, because this is how my mind remembers these last 3 days. They beat Purdue.
Yep.
They beat Maryland.
Yep.
They beat Wisconsin.
Well, surely those teams can't be good, right? They got to be NIT teams.
All 3 of those teams are higher than Michigan.
Well, then that makes sense.
So conference tournaments don't matter, but they do matter in some kind. But that's the joy of the bracket, I guess. I guess that's the joy of the bracket. And Indiana fans, like White Boy Rick, are upset they're not here. But the positive is you get to watch your new coach play Purdue probably in the second round. Mm-hmm. There's that, and also you get a head start on transfer portal and all that. That's what the Buckeyes.
Glass half full.
Anything else? Any other broad and without talking about specific individual matchups, because we'll do that here in a second. Any other broad?
I thought Florida. There was discussion in the gambling cave before the selection, which was Florida's not going to get the number 1 overall seed.
Yeah.
But you could make a pretty good argument as to how Florida's the hottest team in the country and could be the number 1 overall seed. The difference between Auburn getting it and Florida's in the group of death now.
It is very fascinating. The 1 overall seeds have been set for over a week now. I think when Florida won at Bama, it felt like that was kind of the
it basically was regular. Everyone agreed that it was Auburn, Duke, Houston, and then that last.
The last one was up for grabs.
One of the 3 SEC teams.
And then Florida wins at Bama late in the season. Was that the last game of the season? It was one of the last games. It was the next to last game. Yeah, because Bama beat Auburn. Yeah. But when Florida beats Bama, it felt like, all right, well, Florida's going to be the last one. And then more stuff has obviously happened since then. And Auburn crashes out in the SEC tournament. And Tennessee's playing well. And Florida's obviously playing well. Houston wins the Big 12 tournament. I really think that if the bracket would have come out in 2 or 3 weeks, I think the 1 seeds get shaken up. I think that there's enough arguing and enough Auburn's lost 3 of 4 to enter the in-state tournament. That's never happened. It's never come close to happening. To have the number 1 overall seed be playing this poorly, entering the in-state tournament, and they're doing so at a time when it's a very top heavy bracket where there are other number 1 seeds that are very strong. So this isn't a case of Auburn is kind of tripping over their dick. But, who else are we going to put there? You have 3 other teams that could conceivably be the number 1 overall seed. And in spite of all that, Auburn, for the run that they had leading up to this little stretch they're on, it was just that strong. They had that many quad 1 wins and that tough of a schedule. And in the end, it is the totality of the season. But I thought that was interesting because I do think that there could have, if there was enough time to let it breathe and have a discussion, I do think you could very much argue Florida. Florida beat Auburn on their home floor.
Florida going into this.
Florida's the 4th number 1 seed.
Florida in the last 3 days has beaten Missouri, Alabama, and Tennessee.
Yeah.
And their reward is they've got probably the best number 2 seed in St. John's and the best number 3 seed in Texas Tech, all in the West region.
Duke beat the 2nd best team in the ACC by double digits without the best player in college basketball, who they're going to add to the fold. And they also won 30 games. And they Ken Pom loves them. And Houston has lost what?
Houston lost one
game in regulation?
In the Big 12, they swept. They went 19-1 in the Big 12.
I think 3 of their losses were overtime, and their 4th was they've lost 1 game in regulation all season.
Their only regulation game that they lost Saturday, November 9th against Auburn,
which was the play and fight game. Mm-hmm. You got to factor in the play and fight.
You can make a case for all these teams to be one, and it does matter. This is my last broad picture thought, and then we'll dive in. It does matter to me because I do think this is going to be a very chalky NCAA tournament. I think we saw that with the conference tournaments. I think the landscape of college basketball this year feels extremely top heavy. The numbers back that up. I mean, the records of all these 1 seeds. I know Auburn has struggled down the stretch, but the eye test, I believe, backs it up. That like if you've been watching college now some of the 2 seeds look like they're in the mix as well, but I don't see this as an NCAA tournament where we're going to get the 2014 UConn 7 seed out of nowhere. We're going to get
a 7 versus 8 final.
Hell, even 2 years ago, UConn was a 4 seed, right, when they won it 2 years ago. I don't even think that's going to happen. I don't
even know you'll see the 11 seed like NC State. I don't think there's a Cinderella.
It feels like this year more than really any. The last time I remember feeling this way was 2015. I remember that season was extremely top heavy. Obviously, you had Kentucky, who was undefeated entering the NCAA tournament, but then like Wisconsin, who ended up making the Final Four, they were very good. Arizona had a really good team that year. I think Villanova and Virginia had good teams. Duke won it. They were highly thought of going into the tournament. And I felt like 2015. I remember my thoughts going into that tournament saying like, yeah, it's easy to say a 1 or 2 is going to win it. You could say that every year, and generally you'll be right. But boy, this year I really feel it. I haven't felt that way. I haven't felt that strongly that like this is a 1 or a 2 NCAA tournament since 2015. I would say. So that's my overall. And the reason you bring that up when talking about the 1 seeds is this: if it holds true to form, it is chalky. Then now you have Auburn, Florida as a Final Four matchup. Whereas maybe maybe those are the 2 best. I don't know. Maybe we should have spent more time like discussing who goes where, or maybe not. Maybe that was a fruitless exercise, and it's like fuck it, just assign up some numbers and throw them out there, and let's play some ball. Maybe that's what we should do. Having said all that, let's make some picks. All right, so a little housekeeping before we get started. Now, Jake Marsh is who I did this with last year. Rest in peace, Jake Marsh. We lost to Titan. The selection show this year was not the same without the Titan and media that I'm used to seeing when I think of Selection Sunday. So some people think I'm talking about Greg Gumbel. I am in fact talking about Jake Marsh, who's moved on to bigger and better things. But Jake and I talked about this frequently. When you fill out your bracket, there's a way you can do it. Mm-hmm. People have different thoughts. He and I were aligned, so I'm curious if the 2 of you are also going to be aligned with me. I go top left. Yep. I fill out the first round. Go all the way down. Then I go top right, fill out the first round. Then I go back, top left, fill out the second round, top right, second round, and I go that way. I can see in your eye right now. I can see by the face you're making. You are a region by region guy.
Yeah, I would say that if I'm locked in on the South Regional, I would like to make my selections, and then I would like to stick with that and finish out through the regional. I'm locked in on a regional, then I move to the next one, the next one, the next one. Now, I am playing a road game here. I'm on the Mark-Titus.
You are on the Mark-Titus show. If this was the Ohio-State show, we might do it that way. Here's my argument for why I do it. What do you do, by the way?
I'm a region guy.
All right, here's my argument for why. Each round, you need to feel the stakes. You need to feel the weight of the pick. You need to understand that you're about to pick a team to go to the Elite Eight. This is important. Now you're about to pick a team to go to a Final Four. And if I get in a headspace where I'm like, now I'm picking a Final Four team, then rewind all the way back to first round, it's just too much for me. It's too much for my pea brain, and I can't handle it. So
I don't hate the reasoning. I'm just I don't want you in the back of your mind to be like, okay, I'm going whole first round or whole second round. Okay, I haven't picked much upsets. I need to get an upset in here.
And that does happen.
Yeah.
I feel like if you stick it by round, you tell yourself, hey, need an upset coming up.
Well, we already know Titus said no upsets.
Yeah, I'm going to have very few upsets. I'm going to say this, too, another housekeeping thing. I've done a manifesto the last 2 years. I had my manifesto ready. I left it at home on purpose. I did this on purpose. So I'm going improv today. I worked my ass off on building a manifesto for the NCAA tournament. I had a lot of rules. Don't trust the Mountain West was one of them. I had like my sleeper teams everyone's going to be hot on. Like, fuck those teams. They're actually not that good. Here's the real teams you should pay attention to and why. I like the MAC teams. I forget why, but I wrote that down last year. And I had all these notes. And then it doesn't make a goddamn difference. It doesn't make a difference. So I thought, like, I'm feeling a lot of chalk this year. And I looked at the manifesto as I was walking out the door, and I was like, nah, I got it all right here. I got it all in my noggin. I don't need the manifesto this year. So we're going just pure improv, pure vibes. Let's do the damn thing. So we're doing it my way.
Yes.
Can I do it my way on
yes,
on my show?
By a vote of 1-2, you win.
I win by a vote of 1-2. All right. We'll start with Auburn versus Alabama State or St. Francis. I also, to be clear, I don't really give a fuck about. Oh, before we do this, can we tell the people where we can? Cody, grab a microphone, or TJ, you have one.
There. So we have a betting or an ESPN bracket challenge that people can join.
Yeah,
the link in the chat.
It Mostly Sports. Is that what the name of it? You want
Yeah.
to search it for podcast listeners?
Yes.
Mostly Sports bracket challenge on ESPN. We're obviously going to promote it on Mostly Sports as well. So we're going to get the boys of Mostly Sports involved. So we decided to name it that, and then we're going to do it. We're going to do the ESPN one.
Correct.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, the
All right.
ESPN
All right.
one is in the
I
chat. I think visually for this, if you guys are filling out individual brackets, it might make more sense to do it on the NCAA site because you can fill out multiple brackets. Are you doing multiple brackets right now, or are you doing?
I'm doing. We're all doing multiple. We're all doing our own. Yes.
Correct. Yeah,
I
have where to go. This.
Okay, so if you're watching this live or after the fact, and you're seeing the NCAA interface, that is just for the visual of what we're doing. Whereas our bracket challenge will live on ESPN. Am I understanding this correctly?
Correctly.
Okay. All right. So there it is. Go if you want to go up against us and see if you're smarter than us.
Probably.
Be my guest. All right. So here we go. We'll start with Auburn versus Alabama State or St. Francis. I'll start us off. A lot of people are picking against Auburn, I think, in this one because the recent struggles. I see it the other way. I think the 1 seed beats the 16. Give me Auburn.
Okay.
I'm a little worried about Chad Baker-Mazar getting ejected.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tradition.
And you should be every game.
Tradition at this point, but
Yeah.
I believe in Auburn.
Yeah. You know what? Lock it in. I'm going Auburn as well.
And we're off. Louisville Creighton in Lexington. This is on Thursday, right? Thursday game. Do we have tip times? I don't need them for every game. We don't have them yet. Okay.
My guess,
because I think it's going to start to matter eventually.
my prediction is this is the very first game on what would that be?
Thursday.
This
will start
is the game that's kicking us off.
This will be the entire. This will start the entire.
That's I'm calling it now.
All right. That's a good prediction. It's going to be a great game, seemingly.
Louisville got screwed, right?
Louisville got fucked. I think Louisville should have had a better seed. Creighton is a fascinating team. When they're hitting shots, they look great. When they're not, they don't.
This game.
Kalkbrenner and Chucky Hepburn. If you listen to the last show, I put them on my All-American teams. Matchup of two guys. They're not going to guard each other, obviously, but two of the better players in college basketball. I think I'm leaning Louisville because of the home crowd, and also I feel like it was an egregious misseeding to me when I saw Louisville with an 8. I believe they are better than that. I believe they're playing good basketball, and I think they have some magic going with being able to play in Lexington. What a draw for them, man!
Yeah,
to play in Lexington, Kentucky.
I think it's the other way. I think it's egregious that Louisville gets to play at home as an 8 seed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going Creighton because not because I'm a Louisville hater. Because I feel like every time people bitch about a seed like this, where they say it's egregious, they just lose.
They're going to spend.
give me
They're
Creighton.
going to spend too much time complaining about the seeding instead of practicing for Creighton. Is what you're saying?
I could see Pat Kelsey being a little crazy. Like you saw his reaction on. They had the team camera on Louisville, and the man looked stunned when he threw up like a 5-3, like an 8. So yeah, I think that it is a home game, but. Yeah, give me Creighton. I think I'm just going to pick Creighton.
Yeah, I would say that it almost felt like a concession of like, hey, we're going to fuck you guys with the 8 seed, but you also get to play in your backyard.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I am going to take Louisville because I believe that a good coach, and I think Pat Kelsey is one, can take any sort of bulletin board material like that. Mm-hmm. You have a week to prepare. Honestly, why are we even playing the game, right? They think we're an 8 seed, blah, blah, blah. I think Louisville wins the game.
Those Creighton fans are crazy too. They show out, so it'll be. I mean, as much as I want to say like Louisville's going to have the home court advantage with the fans, I don't know that to be true. Creighton fans are nuts.
This is a good old fashioned Midwestern match.
Yeah.
Here's a concern though. Louisville's 4-18 in Rupp Arena. Now those games are against Kentucky, but they're 4-18 in Rupp Arena. That's bad vibes.
Cody, I need a new bracket. You can print me off a new one. Hold on. Thanks, man. I'm restarting.
Are you still locking in Auburn?
I'm restarting. I'm
He's
locking
going
in
St.
Auburn.
Francis.
Dude, you're right. Louisville never wins in Rupp Arena.
They never win in Rupp Arena.
Fuck!
How many times are you allowed to do that?
No, I gotta. The point is, you stick with what you believe. I'm sticking with Louisville. They're gonna win in Rupp Arena. They're gonna keep Louisville. Let's keep it moving. Next up, Michigan, UC San Diego. So, some thoughts on this out of the gate. This is the sexiest 5-12 matchup I think we got, and we got a bunch of good ones. But Michigan, as you remember, Tate, 2 weeks ago, we would have said Michigan is trending towards a 5 seed. I'm taking whatever 12 seed they play. Whatever 12 seed they play, I'm taking them to beat Michigan. Michigan is a fraudulent 5. They get in a lot of these close games. They find ways. I don't know if they have a deal with the devil or what, but they're finding ways to win them. That is not a sustainable strategy. They're going to fuck it up when it matters most. They're going to lose to the 12 seed. Give me the 12 over the 5. On the other side, I think when you're looking at 12 seeds to get excited about, you go straight to UC San Diego, who is in their first year of eligibility to be in the NCAA tournament. They've won 30 games. They have the best turnover margin in Division I. They have the longest win streak in Division I. They have everything seemingly working for them. They take care of the basketball. They shoot threes well. They have a go-to guy in Tate Jones.
Yeah.
Who does everything for them. There's a lot to love about them. And there were people that were saying, I don't care who their 5 seed is. When UC San Diego pops up, if they're a 12 seed in the bracket, I'm taking UC San Diego to beat Michigan. So you're seeing Michigan as a week 5, quote unquote, even though they now have won the Big Ten tournament and they're playing better. You see UC San Diego as a very strong 12. You think to yourself, UC San Diego, best turnover margin in all of Division I basketball, 350, God knows how many at this point teams. Maybe it's more than that. The best turnover margin. Meanwhile, Michigan, their Achilles heel seems to be turning the ball over. This is a bad matchup for Michigan. It's got to be UC San Diego. I think I might go the other way, too. I think I might go the other way, and here's why. UC San Diego has played 0 power conference teams. They have not played a team that, now listen, that doesn't, just because you're in a power conference doesn't mean you're better than every other team. I understand that, but it does generally mean that you're bigger, you're stronger, you're more athletic. Do you have the skill? Do you have the teamwork? Do you have the coaching? We don't know, but generally, they're better athletes in the power conference teams, right? UC San Diego has not seen a power conference team all season, not one. They will be playing against a Michigan team led by 2 7-footers that will be running pick and rolls on them like crazy. Michigan's guards I've not been high on for most of the season, but they're playing better lately. I think this is the classic, like, the whole world is taking the 12 over 5.
Yeah.
And I think Vlad Golden's just going to be posting up all fucking night and just destroying UC San Diego. They're going to have no answer for him and Danny Wolf, and I think Michigan wins.
This is the toughest game for me to pick in the entire bracket because
really,
yeah, 100%. Because I think that we were all in on, hey, whoever Michigan plays, we're picking against. UC San Diego, 2.5-point dogs. Everyone in the world is going to be on UC San Diego, so I want to be like, all right, screw it. There's no way this would happen, and then UC San Diego wins. I want to take Michigan. But on the flip side, Michigan's number one problem, they are 328th in the country in turnover percentage.
Right.
They turn over the ball.
They turn over like crazy.
UC San Diego's best strength is they don't turn it over and they force turnovers. So not only is it a matchup where it's like, hey, Michigan's weak and UC San Diego's a good 12, their strengths are also each other's weaknesses. So I have to take UC San Diego because although they've got the 2 7-footers, they're going to turn. You know who's going to turn the ball over? Danny Wolf, because he turns it over and UC San Diego forces turnovers. Give me UC San Diego.
Now, I'm sure that has nothing to do with Ohio State, but I'm going to go with Michigan. Okay, look at that smirk.
Turnover battle.
San Diego feels to me like McNeese was last year.
Yep. Yeah.
Where everyone was so high on McNeese State. And I picked against McNeese last year for the same reason I'm picking against UC San Diego. You haven't played a power conference team. You don't know what, like, you look great against these smaller teams. And I'm not trying to be a mid-major hater. I'm saying that, like, as we go on the bracket, I'll probably pick some other mid-major teams to advance. But these are teams that have at least seen it. You got to at least get a feel for it. You got a program that's never played, has never been eligible in Division I for the NCAA tournament. They just transitioned from Division II. And now they're in their first tournament. They're going up against 2 7-5. I see this as like I don't know, in the same way I think it was Gonzaga beat McNeese last year, right? Like they just blew them the fuck out, and it was just like you thought that you had something. Like we're all bigger, faster, stronger. We're just gonna.
I'm Graham Ike. This is what.
Yeah. I feel similarly about
Gonzaga was up 25 at the half last year.
Yeah, I feel similarly about this one. The turnover thing does worry me.
And
I'm more worried about the trip to Denver. It's a quick turnaround in altitude. Both, and we'll talk about it too with Wisconsin. But it was weird. Both Big Ten title championship game teams are getting shipped to a Thursday Denver game.
That is weird.
Don't love that.
Oh, yeah.
One thing I'm calling is a little inception here. The amount of people whose take is already everyone's going to be on UC San Diego, so I'm going to be on Michigan might actually mean
everybody's on Michigan
because everyone's supposed to be on UC.
But I think everybody's going to hear you say that now.
I think this is the third biggest. I think there are 2 other 12s that'll be more picked than
more picked.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold. I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that. All right, moving on to Texas A&M, Yale, in Denver. The winner will play the winner of Michigan, UC San Diego. Texas A&M is a rock fight type basketball team. They dominate the offensive boards. They play great defense. Wade Taylor is awesome. Love him. He's a bucket. They've been up and down all season. They're playing in a tough SEC. I think a lot of it is someone has to lose these games in the SEC, but also I don't think they play exactly a beautiful brand of basketball. Yale, meanwhile, I've watched one Yale game. It was last night. I don't think they're that good. I don't think that. I just like wasn't that impressed with Yale, and I know I'm supposed to be. I know they beat Auburn last year. That was a different team. Danny Wolf was on that team. He's not on this team. I think you have to trust if the SEC was in fact as good as we thought it was all season. This is the type of game where it's on full display. It's not so much like will Auburn and Florida both meet in the Final Four and whatever. If you're speaking about the depth of the SEC, you're speaking about a team like Texas A&M, who's a 4 seed, who's going up against a Yale team that won an NCAA tournament game last year, and they should Tate just beat the absolute fuck out of them. They should just put the clamps on them, grab every single rebound, make this game a living hell for Yale. And I'm going with that logic that this is a SEC flex its muscle type game, and Texas A&M wins.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. My point was going to be that A&M's lost 5 of 7, including 4 in a row, and then the first game of the SEC tournament they got upset by Texas. They are not playing good basketball. But if you are going to believe that the SEC is the best conference in basketball, the 4 seed out of the SEC beats Yale.
And then in that stretch, by the way, that bad stretch that you pointed out, which is fair to point out, they did beat Auburn, who was the number 1 team in the country, and they kind of beat him rather easily.
I agree.
So
yeah, I agree with A&M here. How does Yale get a rebound? Like A&M's the best rebounding team in the country, and that's in and I just looked. Yale played 2 power conference teams this year, lost both close games, 3 to Minnesota, 8 to Purdue. So like they do have that. Yale's offense is fun, but you give me Buzz Williams and that rebounding and that athleticism. Yeah, shocking. I'm going with the 4 seed.
You guys are narrative people though, right?
a little bit, yeah.
I like more conspiracy narrative than just narrative.
I mean, that's the most obvious. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but Michigan and Yale are in the same pod there for a reason.
Yeah, Danny.
Yeah,
Wolf.
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Interesting how that worked out. Danny Wolf playing his old team. Makes you think for sure. All right, so now we all picked A&M. We all are in agreement there. Moving on to Ole Miss versus the winner of San Diego State, North Carolina, who will play. When do they play? They play.
That one is.
We don't know. We don't know yet, or do we do? Do they play Tuesday or Wednesday?
That would be the Wednesday. They're Friday.
Oh, because they play Friday. Yeah, so that would be Wednesday. They'll play Wednesday. San Diego State, North Carolina will, and then the winner will play Ole Miss. All right, so going off the narrative thing, obviously I think Ole Miss is better than either one of these teams, and what I just said about the SEC and flexing its strength and all that, I should do that with Ole Miss, who plays. You want to talk about turnover rate, like we were talking with UC San Diego? That's been Ole Miss's MO all season, is they force turnovers, they do not commit turnovers. Great defensively, well coached with Chris Beard. Lot to love about Ole Miss, but the idea of North Carolina winning a couple games in this tournament, and then that somehow justifying them being in the tournament, I can't get out of my head.
You can see it now.
I can't get out of my head.
Every word I was going to say, I already wrote down it. The first thing I wrote down was STSU at UNC.
I can't get it out of thing I wrote down. That Carolina is going to win, is going to beat SDSU. They're going to beat Ole Miss, and then North Carolina fans are going to be like, "Of course we belong. We told you we always belong." And then we're going to be like, "That's not how it works. That's not how this works."
It's VCU making the Final Four.
Yeah. I do. Yeah. And the play-in team does seem to win a game every year. That just makes the most sense to me, is because Carolina, like, their resume is dog shit. 1-12 in quad one wins is very, very bad. Having said that, they have been playing better. I do think that there might be some sense of they have like a new lease on life.
Yeah.
They can play a little looser, a little freer. And they have RJ Davis, who, of course he's going to shoot you out of a million games. And of course, he's not, like, we've seen him long enough at this point to know he's not like as good as we thought he was there for a second, but he's still like fucking terrifying. He's still terrifying in NCAA tournament setting.
He can still go 14 for 20.
Yeah. So I'm taking North Carolina to beat both San Diego State and Ole Miss, with the caveat that if San Diego State beats North Carolina, then that pick becomes San Diego State. For the record, I think it's North Carolina advancing to the second round. But if San Diego State beats North Carolina, I'm still alive. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's a combo.
It's a combo pick. The winner of that game will beat Ole Miss.
Okay. It's going to be a broken record here for me, but I am SEC all day here. I said I was going to do it. I'm going to do it. Stat for you. North Carolina, who we're all assuming is going to win that first game. North Carolina 0-3 against the SEC this year. Ole Miss has played 18 games in the SEC. They're above 500. I'm just rolling on the fact I love Chris Beard. I love the fact that they've played a tough schedule. When UNC has had to play a good team, they're 1-12 against them. Mississippi's a good team. I'm taking Ole Miss.
All right. Riggs?
Oh, yeah, no, you literally stole what I was going to say. If I went first,
yeah.
it was just that there is a curse when you start working at this company come March, and it's just UNC. I got Luke Made. I got UNC Krzyzewski in a Final Four. It's UNC. It's UNC. This happens every time. Bubba Cunningham's AD it's UNC. I don't even know why we're bothered talking about it. It's UNC.
I'll counter the UNC curse though. Can you guys all not close your eyes right now and see Ben Mintz in like the Elite Eight or the Final Four, and this whole company's just like, what the fuck, dude?
I didn't think about that factor.
Because like I can tell you, Riggs, you're not going to be in the Final Four, but Ben Mintz might be just in the fucking Final Four.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't think about that factor.
It's a good point.
That's a brutal factor.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's still UNC.
Good point. Yeah, I'm right. I'm still going North Carolina, but you give me something to think about for sure, Tate. Iowa State Lipscomb in Milwaukee. The winner will play the winner of the game we just picked. Lipscomb is not great defensively. What else do we know about them? They have the one kid. I wrote down some notes.
I watched them on the first day of the year. They played Arkansas in Arkansas's first game, and they were beating them at halftime.
That's the game I watched. Yeah,
they're
up halftime.
Yes,
and then Arkansas like blew them out in the second half. They take care of the ball. They take and make a lot of threes.
Very experienced as well.
And they have the kid, the Jacob O kid. He's got the Oglanovic, who does everything. He's fucking awesome.
He's really good.
I like Lipscomb a lot, but Iowa State, I have to believe if Iowa State can get everybody healthy, and there was a moment in time where I thought Iowa State could win the national championship, and this is where it becomes a problem where if being too invested in college basketball all season might hurt you, because I've believed in Iowa State so strongly at different points in the season that I can't bail on them now. And I don't see them losing a first round game. So I'm picking Iowa State.
Yeah, there was a time Iowa State is what Houston is now. Like when we talked in December-ish, Iowa State is like their season plays out the way Houston's season.
They were up 18 on Auburn in Maui at halftime. Maybe at some point in the second half. And they still had a pretty good year. They're a 3 seed for a reason, but Iowa State, if they get everybody going, they're very, very
mid-January. They're 15-1. They had just beaten Texas Tech, Kansas by 20, and their only loss was by 2 to Auburn. They were a top 3 team in the country.
Right.
They've cooled off, Titus, they're the best team crossed off on our tar and feather list.
Oh yeah, we still have to do that. We have to do the tar.
The tar and feather list, but because they lost in the conference semis to BYU.
I forgot all about.
I do like Lipscomb partially because I just watched them first game of the year, and I really enjoyed it. But Iowa State's my pick.
All right, you picked Iowa State as well.
Iowa State.
Marquette, New Mexico. Fuck, that snuck up on me. That one just snuck up on me.
You want me to lead off?
I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
I need to sit on this.
You want me to?
You
want me to
go
lead
first.
New Mexico. Donovan Dent.
That one just snuck up on me.
Donovan Dent might be my favorite player to watch in college basketball. I can't shake it. I also think this is a Richard Pitino wins and the Nova job rumor heats up even more.
Whoa.
He has something to coach for. I also just want to watch Donovan Dent versus Cam Jones.
That's going to be so good, Riggs.
I love New Mexico. I'm trying to now stop fading the Mountain West because everybody's fading the Mountain West, similar to what Tate said with the 5-12 game. I like it. I know they got to fly across country, but give me New Mexico.
Yeah, I'm rocking Marquette for the last reason that Riggs said, which is Cleveland, Ohio, Marquette, not the farthest distance in the entire world. New Mexico, very far distance in the world. I like Marquette.
This is a distance play for you.
A little bit.
I'm going with the fact that Rick Pitino beat Marquette 3 times this year.
Ooh, Pitino DNA.
And it's just in the Pitino DNA to beat this Marquette team.
This is an in the blood game.
That's all I needed. I just needed a second to think about it because I saw the matchup. We were going down the matchups and I saw Marquette, New Mexico, and it did move a little bit when I thought of Donovan.
This might be the best game.
That's gonna be so fucking good.
Best game in the entire first round.
I'll go New Mexico. Bryant, Michigan State. I'll make that one easy. Michigan State.
Everybody good with that?
Yeah,
Yep.
Let's just move this along. Same with, I assume everyone likes Florida.
Good with Florida.
Let's move Florida past North.
Now this gets a little intriguing,
Now
Titus.
this gets interesting. Now I have talked in the weeks leading up to the NCAA tournament. I have here and there peppered in references to the idea of an 8 or a 9 seed. That when the bracket comes out, everybody is like, "Oh my God, that 1 seed, it better be shitting their pants when they have to." If in the second round, that is a sexy upset pick. This 8 or a 9 seed. As I'm looking at it now, if it wasn't Florida, Florida is very, very hot. If you flip Florida and Auburn and you put 8 seed UConn in Auburn's region, I think I'd have to do it. But I talk about like how everybody gets so excited about the 8-9 seed, and then seemingly every single time that team that you think can beat the 1 loses the actual game that would get them to play the 1. So part of me wants to go with that logic and say that Oklahoma will beat UConn because everybody wants to see UConn Florida. Everybody wants to see the 2-time champs versus the team that I don't know if they're going to be they're not the favorite on DraftKings, but Florida, like
they're down to like the 3rd favorite.
When all the public brackets start coming in, are they going to be the most picked team to win it all? Like it feels like everybody's hot on Florida.
I think they'll probably be 2nd.
Yeah,
just because there's more Duke fans.
But the point, like you understand what I'm saying. Like everybody's fucking on Florida, and everybody remembers what UConn's done the last 2 years. This is a game everybody wants to see. I have to go Oklahoma for that reason. I have to stick with that because it does seem to always work out that way. It seems to work out that way where the matchup you want to see isn't the one that actually comes.
I want to. Whose line is it anyway from you? Who do you think? What do you think the line is in this game on DraftKings? Oklahoma, UConn.
Oklahoma, UConn. I would say it's UConn minus 2.5.
UConn minus 4.5, which I
4.5?
I thought that seemed like a lot of points.
That's a lot.
I was gonna
That's
guess.
a lot.
I was gonna split the middle. I thought it'd be
Kind of smells.
UConn is not good. They just like what every UConn game is like they don't play well, and then there's a stretch some point in the second half when they're down, when they're playing a good team and they're down like 15 and they cut the lead to like 5 and the fucking bench is going crazy and they're chest pumping each other and they're like, we're so fucking back. And then sometimes they keep it rolling and then they win that game, and other times they, like we saw in the Big East tournament, they don't. And I think that like the mystique of UConn is so much greater than this actual specific UConn team, and I think that and Oklahoma, I don't believe in Oklahoma a ton, but Oklahoma's at least like shown me throughout the year that they're.
I feel good about this one. So UConn is going to be a popular play because they're the 2-time defending champions, like you said. Oklahoma, I've been saying it since the beginning of the year. They started off 13-0. Since the new year, they're 7-13, but that's in conference play. And I've been saying you got to put this Oklahoma team in the tournament. They started off 13-0, and the knock on them, Titus, has always been, but who do they play in the non-conference? Yeah, but now looking back, who did they play in the non-conference? They beat Louisville. They beat Michigan. They beat Arizona. That's not nobody in the non-conference. I'm rocking with the SEC, and I'm rocking with the team who was told they were playing a weak non-conference, but after the totality of the season, that's not the weakest thing I've ever seen. Give me Oklahoma in the upset. Even though, upset 9/8.
Give me UConn.
Also, I don't really it's scary to pick against UConn, obviously, given the last 2 tournaments, but I think either one of these teams are losing to Florida.
Right.
Florida's going to work either one of them. So I don't. It's like it's an easy risk to take to pick against UConn because it doesn't. It's not like I don't see UConn going on a Final Four run and looking back and be like, I can't believe I picked against them first round.
Yeah, so I'm taking UConn for that exact reason because it's one game, and I'm not going to have everyone sit there and be like, how the hell did you pick against Dan Hurley? So and also like Oklahoma's a little banged up. Fears is terrifying. He's awesome, but I don't know. Give me just give me Dan Hurley. UConn.
All right, here we go. Seattle, 5-12 game. Memphis versus Colorado State. Holy fucking shit. 2 of the best scorers in college basketball. Nick Clifford has scored. I looked this stat up today. In the last 12 games, he's had 9 20-point games. He's on an absolute fucking tear for Colorado State. Meanwhile, you got PJ Haggerty from Memphis, who just scored 42 in the couple days ago for Memphis, carried them across the finish line. Memphis wins the American regular season. They win the American tournament. Memphis is a team that I felt was going to be like a 7, maybe a 6 at best. They are a 5 seed. The committee thinks very highly of them. 28 wins on the season. But, they are a pretty volatile team, Memphis is. They have bad losses.
Tyrese Hunter injured.
Tyrese Hunter is injured, which is obviously massive for them. I think this is going to be an incredible game. I want to pick a 12/5. And I think the way Colorado State is playing, this is going to be so much fun. New Mexico and Marquette is going to be a fun matchup between two great players, and I think this one's going to be right there with it. Fuck it, I'll take Well, no, I don't pick against the Mountain West. Don't pick against the Mountain West. Someone else go. I almost picked Colorado State. Someone else go.
Guess the line in this one.
This is Colorado State
favored.
-1.
3.5.
3.
Oh, that's Colorado State. Tyrese Hunter's got to be out.
Is Tyrese Hunter out?
I mean, he's on crutches.
I saw he was on crutches. Say he was, but if
that line says that line screams he's out.
If he's out, then I got to go
research.
Colorado State.
This feels like Middle Tennessee, Minnesota back in what was that, like 20?
Yeah,
14?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
They were favored.
Yeah.
Minnesota was all banged up. Middle Tennessee won.
Yeah.
I hate this because I was all in on. I was going to be in on Memphis, but if Tyrese Hunter is out, how do you do that? Still on crutches after the game.
Also, I just
Don't
think that
know his
Nico
futures.
Nedved's a great coach.
Yeah, I'm going
Yeah.
Colorado.
Speaking of Minnesota, probably take the Minnesota job.
Probably.
That does worry me. What if Nico's not locked in because he's on the phone with Minnesota. He's got one foot out the door right now and he's not fully locked in. All right. You took.
I ended up going Colorado State.
You went Colorado State.
The last hour of tweets online say that Tyrese Hunter is probably
not going to play. Yeah, it'll be a fun game.
You taking Colorado State then?
I'm taking Colorado State. Yeah, give me Colorado State. I'm worried about.
Wow, a clean sweep and a 12-5.
I'm worried about the Mountain West.
I don't want to do that.
I know,
but I am.
You've gone 2 12s already.
Yeah.
Maryland Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon is a chaotic basketball team. They don't shoot particularly well, but they do push. They play fast. They get fouled a lot. They have guys that have been there before. They're well coached. This Maryland team has their starting five is so good. It does fall off a cliff in production outside of the starting five. I've seen too much Maryland. And I've seen too much good Maryland to bail on Maryland. Just because they lost by 1 point to Michigan in the Big Ten tournament, like that's pretty much the only reason would be the last time I saw them, they just lost. Whereas Grand Canyon obviously won their conference tournament. That is stupid logic. I think Maryland's a better basketball team than Grand Canyon. I think Grand Canyon can't shoot. I think that's going to hurt them, and I think Maryland wins this game.
Yeah, Maryland turns teams over a lot. Grand Canyon turns the ball over a lot, and I am enamored with watching Derek Queen go one-on-one iso ball as a big post. I just want to see it over and over and over again. So for that reason, I'm going Maryland.
Yeah, so what Maryland does best is just beat up on like the small in stature size mid-majors. And I'm looking right now at Grand Canyon. They do have some size. Like Tylen Grant Foster, I like a lot at 6'7". Bowles is 6'8". But can they compete with Queen and Reese? Because, listen, Maryland has zero bench. The moment they sub out, that's when teams make a run. But I think in this game, I wanted to take Grand Canyon, but I think it's still Maryland.
Maryland, Grand Canyon will play super fast, obviously, but I think Grand Canyon, the one thing working in their favor is the chaotic element of like if this gets like a butthole tight type situation, like Grand Canyon thrives in that moment.
Who they beat last year? They beat it was motherfucking. Why are we blanking?
It was motherfucking.
They lost to Bama. They beat St. Mary's.
Oh yeah, so you can't even say they played.
Power team.
Yeah, it's Maryland.
I like Maryland. Missouri Drake in Wichita. No seemingly no home court advantage for either team. I mean, both of them are pretty close to Wichita there. Drake has won 30 games. Drake is a team that a lot of people are hot on in terms of all these mid-major teams. It's a bunch of D2 guys that moved up the ranks basically, and Ben McCollum is coaching them up this year. It was a completely different team from last year's Drake. There's been a lot of talk about I picked Drake last year, I picked Drake the year before. It's never really worked out for me. Drake always loses in these games. Well, same jerseys, same school, completely different roster, basically completely different coach. This is a different team. Having said all that, I'm going to say the same thing about Drake that I said about the same thing I said about Drake wait, no, that's not right. Drake isn't the other. There's another small team.
I was going to say, Drake has played.
Drake beat Vandy on a neutral court. No, I'm worried. This is why I'm worried about Drake with Missouri. Drake plays too fucking slow, and Missouri pours in points. And I think that's how Drake has to play to win the game, but I don't think Drake is – I think this could be a good game. I think Drake doesn't take care of the ball as well as I would like them to as well. That's another thing that stood out to me with Drake's profile was like, if you're going to play slow, you have to be – You can't turn it over. You have to value possession.
Got to be top 5 in the country.
The way Missouri plays, I think is too frenetic. I think they'll speed Drake up, and I think Missouri will win.
Yeah, I'm going SEC once again. Like you said, Drake does have some experience against power teams. They did play Vanderbilt. They beat them. They did play Kansas State. They beat them. They did play Miami, Florida. They beat them. None of those teams are really good, but it won't be the first time they see them. This is also a tarred and feather game. Missouri was the first team we got.
Oh, that's right.
That might be a tarred and feather
of
destiny.
Missouri. Yeah, we got to pick Missouri to win.
Yeah, I'm going Missouri for every reason you said. It just feels like if it's close late or in the second half, that Mizzou can just kind of speed up Drake a little bit too much, and then Missouri goes like 12 guys deep too.
Yeah.
They
So
can just
deep. They
fall
have
out there.
and for all the talk of like Drake has like they don't have Division I experience guys, but they have an older team like a lot of these mid-major teams do. Missouri has a ton of dudes that have played a lot of Division I basketball.
I am a little worried that this is a revenge game in a way, or a state game, because they all came from Northwest Missouri State.
Yeah,
That's the way my brain works.
That's a good point. Good.
I'm
Then that's
going
why you're
Missouri.
here. That's a good note.
It's the dumb brain, but it's Missouri.
A lot of Missouri kids
A lot
against
of Missouri
Missouri.
kids.
Texas Tech, UNC Wilmington. I'll make this quick. I think this is going to be a bloodbath. Texas Tech will fucking smoke them. I don't think UNC Wilmington's good. I watched them play a couple times in their conference tournament. I think they won. Like kudos to them. Fun story, whatever. I don't think they're a particularly good basketball team. I think Texas Tech is really fucking good, and I think Texas Tech wins easily.
I think they're the best 3 seed, Texas Tech.
Yeah, I love Texas Tech.
Next one's interesting, Mark.
Oh, my God. Now we get to the part of the bracket where Bill Self, John Calipari, and Rick Pitino are all in the same pod.
Good bracketing.
Kansas, Arkansas. Boogie Flan is back, is what they're saying.
And they were
Is
better.
that good?
No.
I would say, can I take the floor?
Go ahead.
They are worse with Boogie Flan. Boogie Flan is an awesome player. John Calipari does not know how to operate with Boogie Flan, John L. Davis, and DJ Wagner, because they are all the best with the ball in their hands. Wagner's not a good enough shooter to run him off his floppy action. That said, I'm picking Arkansas.
Really?
Listen, these teams stink. This game's going to be in like the 30s. There's something with like Billy Richmond and Carter Knox. I also think that like Adu can just
Take over.
not take over, but just annoy Hunter Dickinson and get him flustered.
Yeah.
And like what does Kansas do well? Like these teams are just the same team. They're both play too many bigs, not enough shooting.
Mm-hmm.
They don't score a lot. Like they're both good defensively. It's gonna be a hideous game. This just feels like Calipari's gonna be strutting around like a peacock doing his.
I'm so back. I won't. Yeah.
You didn't put your nails in me, even though we're a 10 seed and on the bubble. They're fucking winning. I hate to say it. They're winning. It's Arkansas.
All right. I'm picking. I just realized how I'm going to make my pick. I'm picking Kansas for this reason. I see this as two coaches that can't lose this game for their own. Like they can lose it obviously, but like two coaches that are going into this game saying like this is a big game to like silence the haters a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, of course, like a Kansas winning one game in an NCAA tournament isn't like, let's hang a banner. But given how the last 2 years have gone for Bill Self, if he loses to John Calipari in the first round, that's bad. That's really, really fucking bad. And you have the preseason number one team in the country 2 years in a row, and you lose in the second round by 1 million to Gonzaga last year. You lose in the first round to Arkansas. That's extremely bad. Meanwhile, John Calipari, Jack Golke, ends his Kentucky tenure last year, leaves, goes to Arkansas, and he's starting a new thing, and like it felt like maybe he would have a better team than he did. They in the end make it in the NCAA tournament. This feels like a good like. If John Calipari's mind is like this is a must win, so I could tell all the Kentucky fans to suck my dick.
Yeah,
and,
like, hey, we got one.
Yeah, and I got one. I got back on the winning side of things. I think more pressure, so to speak, is on Bill Self to win, and that's why he's going to win because I think that like
he's still a better coach.
this is more of a can't lose for Bill Self.
Okay.
Like he's got to win this game. He's got the better team too. I think in terms of the overall talent. They haven't shown it at times throughout the season. I think Arkansas has Arkansas's. Well, I don't even think that's entirely true. Kansas beat Duke for God's sakes. Kansas's peaks have been better than Arkansas's. I think Kansas is a better team. I'm picking Kansas. I'm not overthinking this.
Yeah, I'm going with Kansas. I hate that they're playing each other. I love that they're playing each other, but I hate they're playing each other. I love it because it's going to be a highly anticipated game. I think it might be the first game of the day. It's in Providence. It's the first game. Is there a chance that that's the noon first game?
That or prime time.
I hope it's prime time, but I'm afraid it's going to be like get it over with.
I'm
too early.
shocked. I thought they were going to put Cal in one of the Lexington regions.
That would have been fun.
I thought that was almost a lock to happen.
I do like saying that, talent in the end. I think it's better to have talent that you need to get to come together than have no talent at all. I think Kansas still does have the talent. Arkansas does as well. I'm going with Kansas in this game, though.
All right.
I'm also trying to hedge myself.
Yeah, emotional.
I wanted to emotionally hedge myself there because if Calipari makes it to the second weekend with this Arkansas team and all the shit that all of America talked about it's going to be unbearable. I'm not going to be – this is worse than Ben Mintz winning a championship.
We can go ahead and do St. John's, right? We're all picking
St. John's.
I assume, and we're all picking Duke as we go to the right side of the bracket.
Yep.
Picking against American? Our country?
That's a good point. Now, is it America or American?
It's American, which we
Okay,
are.
so well,
picking
that-
against
then
all
that-
of us.
Are you proud?
Then yeah.
Yeah, it's
Then I am picking against American.
Or
This is or Mount. AU versus
Yeah,
Mount. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and pick Duke.
Unanimous.
Mississippi State Baylor. Baylor was more. I felt like Baylor had a more bubbly profile, resume than I think they were being talked about. Like,
I thought they'd be a 10, not a 9.
I knew they would make the tournament because no one else seemed to point out that like they should be on the bubble.
Right.
But like I was like, Baylor's not that secure, are they? The prognosticator said yes, they are. They ended up being right. They're a 9 seed. Mississippi State has been a team that just simply will not win the big game, the proverbial big game. It just escapes Mississippi State over and over and over again. Every time I watch Mississippi State, they lose. I don't know how that happens, but every fucking time I watch them, they lose. I feel like this is I'm picking Baylor because I feel like Baylor to me feels like a bubble team in the same sort of logic that I used to pick North Carolina earlier, that they're a little luckier to be in this tournament than I think they realize. Not that I ever thought, I don't know. I never thought they were in jeopardy of being out, but it wouldn't have stunned me. If Baylor would have been in like the play-in game in this bracket, I don't think I would have been as stunned as I was that like North Carolina was in the play-in game, to be honest with you. So I think Baylor beats Mississippi State because I've never really liked this Mississippi State team, and I think Baylor, when Baylor gets going, I think like they're two very similar teams that like are offensive minded, but I think Baylor has better scorers and certainly like VJ Edgecombe, if he's on, he's going to be the best player on the floor, as good as Josh Hubbard is.
See, I was just about to say, I think Hubbard might be the best scorer, though. And I'm taking Mississippi State here because everything you said about Mississippi State not being able to win the big game, I swear every time I watched Baylor in a big game, they lost.
That's all it takes, I
Like,
guess.
it just
depends on what games you watch.
Right. Like, in my head, I'm just like, and maybe it's just the very first game of the year that I could never shake where Baylor just got smoked by Gonzaga. Mm-hmm. And, I think Hubbard – something just seems off with this Baylor team. There was like a lot of reports about what was going on with whether like Langston Love and Jeremy Roach were going to come back from injuries, and something just seemed off. Give me Mississippi State.
I also want to see Jeremy Roach play.
I was going to say, boys,
I want to see
come
Jeremy
on.
Roach play Duke.
Come on. Narrative Street, someone's got to say that this is set up perfectly for Jeremy Roach versus Duke.
Yeah.
I agree. I want Jeremy Roach versus Duke, so I'm taking Baylor, and also something about Mississippi State. I know they swept Mississippi, and I think they beat A&M was their other good win. But every time they're on TV, every time I've watched them, anytime they've had a chance to beat anyone worth a damn, they lose.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to see Brandon Walker get a little angry too.
Yeah. I'm going fishing.
That's it. Get my stuff.
Duke Baylor just seems like something we're going to see.
Yeah. But then like I would love to see Mississippi State just lose by 40 to Duke.
Which Brandon did call like
he did call
a week
that
ago. He was like, they're gonna fuck us, and we're
We're gonna
put
So that's destiny too.
He
He said we're gonna be the 8. He said they play UConn and then Duke, but I mean he was close
Pretty
enough.
on,
They're in Duke's region. All right, Oregon Liberty 5-12 game. Liberty is a comical basketball team. They just hilarious. Just like the I think they're the funniest team in the entire tournament. They basically just only shoot threes. And if they go in, they get 3 points. If they don't, then they're just not going to score on that possession. And that's it. They don't rebound. They can't. They somehow, I wrote this down, 39.5% from three. They're number 5 in Division I. The number 5 3-point shooting by percentage, 3-point shooting team of all Division I. They are number 354 in Division I in free throw percentage. How can a team that shoots that well?
That's almost statistically impossible.
They can't make free throws. They shoot 65% from the free throw line, and they shoot 40% from three.
Because, like, you're a shooter. You shoot from
three. Because they only practice threes. That's all they do. They spend their entire practice just shooting threes. They never offensive rebound. When they miss, they don't get the offensive rebounds. They don't get fouled, and when they do get fouled, they don't go to the free. They don't make the free throws. They are the number 1 team in college basketball, or they're the number 1 team. This is going to be a confusing stat, but maybe at home write
Stay
it
with
down.
us,
Maybe
yep.
write it down and chew on it, and it'll make sense. The number one team in this tournament that the highest percentage of their points comes from the 3-point line.
Okay.
They're the number one most reliant on the 3 team in all of this NCAA tournament. And for that reason, I think that this is a game where like Liberty's the most variance team I think out there. They're the most make shots team. If they're hitting threes, they're really fucking good. They also run the risk of like losing by 40 to Oregon because they're not hitting and they haven't faced Oregon's length. Oregon's a great defensive team. I think Oregon just chews them up and spits them out. I think Liberty. I think you just see Liberty go like 5 for 31 from the 3-point line, and they're just like, what the fuck? I don't know what else to do out here.
Also, someone, I forget, I wish I remembered who said it in the cave. Someone said that Nate Biddle looked like a mechanic, which is just a great nickname for him.
Yeah.
He's only been in college for 4 years. He does look 40 years old. He's awesome to watch if you haven't watched Nate Biddle yet. You know, Liberty traveling out to Seattle. I don't think they're allowed to even drink soda on that plane.
That's right.
The student handbook. So, yeah, I think this is the 1-5-12 game that the 5 just looks the part compared, and it's like a comfortable 19-point win.
I agree. Oregon, Nate Biddle has 3-4 inches on whoever Liberty.
Also, Dana Altman's just one of the best March coaches that we need to start talking about way more.
Right. I say all that with there is a fear in me that like Liberty's just gonna not miss.
Yeah, well, that's
what
the thing.
happens if Liberty just simply doesn't
like
miss.
that. Yeah,
What if they just don't miss? But that's their whole plan. Is like we're just not gonna miss. We're just gonna hope we don't miss.
It's still so funny they can't shoot free throws. That's like
just hack a shot.
make
in
any
baseball. It's like, why can't you hit it, coach? He's throwing too slow.
Why don't they
free throws are too close?
Put their
coach.
heels on the semicircle and like spin the ball to them and make it as close to a 3-point shot.
Yeah,
just shoot a three.
You don't have to shoot with your foot toed on the line.
Yeah, just back up.
That'd go viral.
Next matchup: Arizona versus Akron. Your Zips. You're
My
wearing
Zips.
the jumpsuit. You want to take this one?
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it first. So Akron's a top 10 offense in the country scoring wise. Arizona's the top 20 in the country scoring wise. The over under is the highest total in the first round at 167. They are going to get up and down, up and down, up and down. The one thing that Akron struggles with is they are one of the smallest teams in Division I. One thing that Arizona does really well is they offensive rebound like crazy. So I'll say this. There was a bunch of teams in the 4-seed line that I was diving into to see how my Zips matched up. This was the one team I didn't want to play. Not only do we play them in Seattle. The line is 16, which is a lot of points for a team that a lot of people were high on Akron. A lot of people have been tweeting about Akron saying this could be a Cinderella. Vegas has shut that down. I absolutely hate this matchup. The only thing I can think of is maybe the Zips get hot and maybe Caleb Love shoots Arizona out of the game.
Which is a real possibility.
It is. Give me the Zips.
You have to, right?
And I'm not writing Akron. I'm writing the Zips.
Zippy.
I wanted to pick the MAC team. In fact, as we were watching Akron Miami, I think I turned to you or someone else in the cave and I was like, whoever wins this game, I'm picking them to win a game in the tournament. And then now that we're here, this is a horrendous matchup for Akron. Horrendous
we could be playing
matchup.
Purdue.
Arizona's just better Akron. Like they have similar philosophies, similar approach to the game.
They're just
and Arizona's
taller,
just
bigger, better.
Better. They're just better, and they're going to be better. And Akron, as good of a season as they've had, 19-1 in the MAC, and then won the MAC tournament. They have how many losses they have? 6, 7, 6.
They're 28-6.
They had, I think, like 4 of those losses were beat downs. When they lose, they get smoked and the wheels fall off. And I feel like this could be that. This could be that.
Can I tell you guys a secret that I don't think I've said in my term at Barstool? Arizona is like my affair piece. I love Arizona basketball. I have loved them my entire life since like Jason Gardner with the High Sox. I got a soft spot every year. I try to find a way to kind of put them in the Final Four. They break my heart every year. I think they have a top 5 jersey in the sport. I'm still picking them. It's
yeah.
I'm trying.
By the way, I agree with you.
I don't know what it is. I've just always had a soft spot.
I love Arizona basketball.
Always
have. Always cheer for them.
Yeah.
96, I was rooting my ass off for Arizona, and I didn't. Or 97, 96 too.
Yeah.
Like 97.
They were probably there too. Yeah.
97. Every year there was an 01 when they.
That team was awesome.
I thought they were going to win it.
I wanted to share this. I talked to a guy from Akron last night. Well, I don't know how people from Akron are now talking to me and Oldie. We ran into the.
This was the funniest image I've ever seen in a long time.
Oh, I'm not even talking about. I'm talking about someone DM me from Akron. I was
Oh,
like,
that.
Like, what are we looking? What are we looking like? And he said, the teams we're looking at, the one team we don't want to play is Arizona.
Oh, really?
He said if we play Maryland, we can run because they don't play
They don't have
deep
a
into their bench.
yeah.
If we play Michigan, yeah, they have the height, but they might not be able to deal with our lack of height and our shooting and everything. And then he goes, but Arizona. Like the one thing the Zips can do is score against you, and the one thing Arizona's like, yeah, let's fucking do it.
The
boys.
Zips are going to push tempo, and Arizona's going to say, okay,
Okay, fine,
yeah,
thank
sweet,
you.
we love this.
Like,
Yeah, this is awesome for us.
Akron's tallest player is 6'8", and Arizona's got 3 7-footers on their roster.
Woof, woof.
Fuck.
BYU VCU 6-11 matchup in Denver, which I assume the altitude favors the Utah team. This is a game that I want just BYU to be all-time offense, and I want VCU to guard them. I want to just watch. I want to.
I love that idea.
And I think VCU should get like a point if the point and a half if they stop them or something.
Yeah, no,
you
they
get 2 points if you stop
they
them.
and a 3 if they miss a 3.
And 3 if they miss a 3. Why not that? Why don't we just do that? I love BYU's offense. I love VCU's defense. I have questions about when VCU will have the ball, how that will look. BYU is a team that at times, if you catch them on the right night, they do look like they're national title good. They have a bunch of scores. They love to score the basketball. They love to push it, and I fucking love watching them when they're rolling. I think I'm going to take BYU because I think I only watched BYU a handful of times this year, and I only watched VCU basically in the conference tournament. And BYU was more inspiring, if that makes sense. They play a more beautiful brand of basketball, and I think they have better athletes. So I'm taking BYU.
This is the toughest first-round game for me to pick because I want to do something crazy with this pod, and I don't know who I like out of this. And I keep going back and forth. I think it's a distance play for me of BYU. You know, VCU now has to travel. They were in D.C. for the A-10 tournament. Has to travel to Denver. BYU's right there. Yeah, it's BYU just because I want to watch them. I want to watch offense more.
Yeah.
It's BYU.
I like VCU, but yeah, they played like 15 minutes ago, and now they turn around and they have to play Thursday. BYU lost on, I think, Friday night, and they don't have to travel much here.
Yeah.
They're going to be well rested. VCU had to win. I'm going BYU.
I mean, if you're VCU, obviously watch that Houston tape of the other night of Houston just fucking.
Yeah, but can you?
But you can't do. I mean,
Can't
yeah,
beat Houston.
Just be Houston.
just be Houston though. But yeah, I mean that was a bad performance from BYU. But I trust that they'll bounce back and take care of business. We'll see. I think it'll be a great game. Wisconsin, Montana. I think that one's pretty simple. I don't think Montana's good at all.
Yep.
Yep.
I think Wisconsin. If this was the first time you watched Wisconsin was today. This was their 4th game in 4 days. And they were missing a lot of shots because of it. I'm not saying they would have beaten Michigan otherwise. Michigan did beat them earlier in the year on Wisconsin's home floor, but that was not indicative of what I believe the Wisconsin team you'll see in the NCAA tournament will be. I think they'll make shots, get a little bit of rest, although they don't get a ton of rest. They gotta get on a plane and go to Denver. They gotta play in altitude after 4 games in 4 days.
Montana stinks.
They got to fly
But
there.
Montana stinks.
Montana's played 2 power teams this entire season. They lost by a combined 80 points. So I'm rolling with Wisconsin. I do think it's hilarious that today's first taste of Wisconsin basketball for everyone, they're all tweeting at Big Cat like, oh, tall white dudes that can't score. Welcome to Wisconsin basketball.
I also saw something that said 18 of the last 21 Ken Palm's luckiest teams in the country had lost their first round NCAA tournament game. That's Montana this year. So it's just even more stuff against them.
Yeah, Montana was I don't know. I don't think Montana's that great. In Wisconsin, I have been high on Wisconsin. I've said multiple times on the show I think Wisconsin is the Big Ten's best shot at a deep run. And I don't know if I still believe it, but I do think
I like their pod.
I think when Tanji's rolling and the shooting is falling,
Blackwell's awesome.
Yeah. And it's not just Tanji, even though he's the guy that makes them go. I think they'll bounce back after today and certainly at the very least beat Montana. St. Mary's versus Vandy.
I got tip times, by the way.
Oh,
You have 10 times? Okay.
did I nail it?
What's the first one?
Yeah.
Creighton.
Oh,
1 for 1. I'm out.
that's damn good.
Good job.
That's a
Good
perfect.
job.
That
that's,
is damn
that's
good.
A perfect bracket.
Where is that Arkansas game?
That is damn good.
Where's Arkansas, Kansas?
Is
Is it late?
7:10
Wow, that's excellent.
Thursday night.
Okay.
That'll be fun.
Okay, what else we got?
What's the late games?
I like. Hold on, go back.
Sorry, TJ.
I like Texas Tech Wilmington being the last game of the night because we could just start the show early.
But listen, don't you
Michigan.
hate Michigan and San Diego being a late game?
Where's that? Where's that?
10
One right
p.m.
above it.
Oh,
Have
shit,
to watch
changes.
that.
All right, I got to start my bracket over. Give me Cody. Go print one off. We're gonna go through all these again.
Cleveland.
Where's Kentucky?
This changes
Where's
everything.
Kentucky? Kentucky's gonna be Friday night. I hate having a late Friday game.
Dude,
They
late
got the
games,
Zips 7:35.
late games fucking
Robbie
suck
Hummel
for
on
your
the
team.
Zips.
If
game,
it's
I
your
like
team,
that.
the late games suck
7:10
so
on
much.
Friday.
All right.
Good job, TJ.
What's the late
That's
game there? Liberty, Oregon.
Liberty, Oregon.
Liberty, Oregon.
Illinois is a late game.
I'm on the call.
With Hummel on the call. Oh,
Hummel.
whew. All right.
He's probably calling every game the way he's on TV, anyways.
Yeah, those are Eastern.
St. Mary's Vandy is what I think we were on next.
Yep.
Yeah.
St. Mary's feels like a team that can only win in one way. Now, they are very, very good at getting teams to play their way, and then they beat them their way. But St. Mary's, the handful of times I watched them this year, it is glaringly obvious like they don't have athletes. They can't run. They can't keep up when there's a plan. When it calls for a plan B, they have no answer. And that worries me. But I love their culture. I love the idea of them winning one NCAA tournament game. Vanderbilt has had some very, very high highs this year. Almost all of them have been on their own home court.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a dream season for Vanderbilt. I think I want to pick Vanderbilt, but Vanderbilt looks very attractive to me, but I feel like this is the one I didn't see coming, or maybe by saying I'm seeing it coming, I do see it coming. This reminds me of St. Mary's did that to Indiana, I think, a couple years ago, like Trace Jackson Davis, Indiana team, where they just fucking crushed Indiana's spirit the entire game, and they just slowed it down and played St. Mary's basketball. I feel like that might be what happens here. Is like Vanderbilt is feeling really good about themselves, but I think the dream story might end. I think this was it. I think hearing their name on Selection Sunday was as far as this run's going to go for them. Who's favored in that one, by the way?
St. Mary's by 4.5.
4.5?
Yeah, seems weird.
That does surprise me. I would figure that Vanderbilt would. I figured it'd be lower than that. That just strengthens my belief that's going to be St. Mary's then, because I feel like St. Mary's is going to win, but it's going to be ugly, as it often is with St. Mary's.
Yeah, I'm going with Vanderbilt, SEC, and also like you said, we've talked about Vanderbilt after they beat Tennessee at home, stormed the court. They beat Kentucky at home, stormed the court. They beat Texas. I believe they stormed the court. Mississippi, Texas A&M, those are big wins in the SEC. I'm going with Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I'm going Vanderbilt too. I think Gonzaga sucked St. Mary's soul out of them. Like St. Mary's had the dream season where they got to celebrate winning the WCC regular season on Gonzaga's home court. Then WCC title game, I know it was close, but Gonzaga was in the lead, I think, the entire game. I like Vandy. I think Byington's a hell of a coach. Also, I don't know. It just feels like St. Mary's is in this spot every single year of like the 5 to 7 seed.
Mm-hmm.
They might win a game, but more often than not, it seems like they just kind of fizzle out. Give me Vanderbilt.
All right, you guys are taking Vanderbilt. I'm taking St. Mary's. Although I do think it should be a pretty good game.
4.5 does seem high.
I'm trying to look at 4.5 seems very high. The 22 and 23. So they've been 5 seeds each of the last 3 years.
Yeah, they got smoked by UConn one year.
Yeah. Never made. They made the Sweet 16 in 2010. That's right. Was it Omar Samhan?
Yeah,
Was that the Omar Samhan year?
Villanova.
That's right. All right, Bama. I assume we're all in Bama.
Yep.
We're all in Houston. We can
Yep.
do 1s and 2s. We can just move it along.
Yep.
That takes us to Gonzaga, Georgia. Gonzaga's made 9 straight Sweet 16s. Is that the number? 9 straight. I think that was part of the manifesto. Was no matter what, when you see Gonzaga, move them to the Sweet 16. They've made 9 straight Sweet 16s, and until they don't make the Sweet 16, keep moving them to the Sweet 16. I'll address, and this is why I go round by round, because I don't want to put Gonzaga to the Sweet 16 yet. I need to chew on it. I do want to. I do want to do something a little crazy in the bracket, a little bit, but I don't want to pick against Houston yet. So I'm gonna. Gonzaga's gonna beat Georgia. Give me Gonzaga over Georgia. I kind of hate this Gonzaga team and have all year, to be completely honest with you, but I do trust Mark Few in March at this point, which is funny because people talk about how much he chokes. He's never gonna win a national title, but the guy's been to 9 straight Sweet 16s. I think they're gonna handle Georgia and beat Georgia, and
Yeah.
at least get us the matchup with Houston.
Everything you said about Vanderbilt being a home team, Georgia was very much a good at home. I don't really love them away from there. And that's not to take away. Like, Georgia exceeded expectations by a lot. They have some interesting makeup to their roster. Like, Blue Cane can get hot. Soto Sorrell is a monster freshman. But, yeah, give me Gonzaga. Like, why do we overthink this? It's Gonzaga.
Yeah. Gonzaga's built for games like this.
I'm going Georgia.
Okay.
Oh,
I
Mr. SEC over there.
Well, I am. I'm Mr. SEC except for Arkansas. I have losing to Kansas, but Georgia again is, in my opinion, one of those SEC teams that had some highs in the SEC. They beat Florida. They just beat Florida the other day. They've lost a lot of SEC games. Let's not forget non-conference. They're a team that beat St. John's as well. So I'm riding the SEC. I think we're going to revert back to what we thought going into conference play, which is the SEC's dominant.
Just dominate everybody.
And also Gonzaga's not Gonzaga. You know that.
Yeah.
Well, they quite literally are. It says it on their shirts.
They are. At the same time, they are. They've been playing a little bit better lately, but
they just won the WCC.
I thought they were gonna be way better this year than they were, because they ended
beat
the
Baylor
season
by
so strong, and
400
then they
points.
beat Baylor by 4,000 to open the season, and then they just kind of lost to every good team they played after that. But I think they beat Georgia, and they'll play Houston the second round. Clemson McNeese.
This is the sexy 512.
This is very, very sexy. Clemson, I feel like, is a very strong 5 seed. I said that on the bracket show we just got done doing, that oftentimes your stereotypical 5 seed is your power conference team that's just like a middle of the road type team. I felt like Michigan and Clemson. Oregon is, I think Oregon's good, but Oregon does sort of fit that description for me, is that, like, at no point did you feel like Oregon was elite within their conference, and Oregon had that losing stretch in the middle of conference play. Memphis, as much as they've won, you watch them all season, they sort of had like they're good, not great type feel. Michigan is a team that competed for the Big Ten championship. I know that they squandered it down the stretch, but then they just won the Big Ten tournament, and at times you're like, Michigan might be the class of the Big Ten, right? Same sort of thing with Clemson, where obviously Duke is the better team in this conference. Clemson did beat Duke at home, but I felt like Clemson the entire season was always like one of the teams you had to mention when you would say the ACC sucks.
Yep.
But
exactly.
They do have Duke, they do have Louisville, they do have Clemson. And I feel like Clemson was that good all season. And all of that tells me that they are not a typical 5 seed. This is just more indicative of the selection committee having zero respect for the ACC except for North Carolina, right? Having said all that, I like this McNeese team way more than I liked them last year. I think this team, they got 7 dudes that are averaging 7 points or more. They are very, very balanced. They have lost 1 game since December 15th, I think, middle of December. They are on a big time tear. They played
I'm pulling up their.
They played two power conference teams, and they played them well. I think it was Bama and Mississippi State. Was it Bama and Mississippi State?
Yeah.
I think they played them both.
Total of 11 points.
So my whole thing last year with them was like, you guys haven't even tasted like a real power conference team. The power, you're gonna go against a power conference team, they're gonna fucking ruin you. Which they played Gonzaga, but you know what I mean. I think this year they played the power conference team close. I kind of want to pick McNeese, and I kind of think Brad Brownell's on the phone taking the IU job right.
Really?
I think Brad Brownell is taking the IU.
You don't think Will?
You don't think Will?
But Will Wade's taking the IU job. I want to take McNeese, but out of respect to Clemson and the season they've had, they go to the Elite Eight last year. They brought back enough from last year. I think this is a spot where Clemson wins the game. But I said all that to say I think basically all of that was just to say if McNeese had a different 5 seed, I think I would have picked him this year. But I'm not picking him against.
This is the ACC isn't that bad, was it? Type of game. The ACC. So the ACC's top 3: Duke, which I think a lot of people respect, Louisville, 8 seed, crazy, and Clemson, 5 seed. I understand that the ACC is not the ACC that it's been. The idea that the second place team was a 5 seed in the ACC, I'm just taking Clemson because I think they're being disrespected. Not anything against Will Wade and McNeese. Clemson.
Yeah, I'm a little worried with Dylan Hunter. I think they said he broke his hand. Like that hurts Clemson's defense. I think this game's closer than what people might think it is, but I still like Clemson. Like, again, they made the run last year. Chase Hunter's really good. Ian Schifflin.
Mm-hmm.
They have enough, I think, to kind of match whatever McNeese thinks they have an advantage on. So, yeah, give me Clemson in this one.
All right, Titus, let's do it. Let's do it.
Purdue and High Point.
Going to be a hot pick.
High Point, I keep going back to that. Haven't played any power conference team thing. High Point is atrocious defensively. Purdue has been pretty bad defensively. I think that's like their big Achilles heel, and you saw it on display against Michigan. Like they have no interior defense whatsoever, and even the guards defensively are not exactly elite. I think this is going to be a great game, one, but two, I just think Braden Smith will have complete and total control of this game from start to finish, and I think High Point will have no answer for him just like pulling every single string. And as much as people are high on High Point, I don't know. I got to be honest. I was looking at all the mid-major. I warned the viewer, I warned the listener, I was going really chalky this year. I don't really love a lot of these mid-major teams this year. I don't know if that's like just because of my own feelings watching them play, or if this is like indicative of like the transfer portal NIL era and all the talents being funneled up to the top. I don't know if there's like
I think it goes both ways.
I don't know what's going on, but like there at this time of year, I usually get excited about like 3 to 5 teams. I wasn't the ones I were excited about, say like an Akron, got terrible matchups.
Right.
And I find myself just like not that excited about a lot of these upsets happening. I think Purdue takes care of business and it's a horrific defensive High Point team, but I will say a lot of scoring in this one.
Yeah, High Point.
I think High Point will be able to get theirs.
Their bench is awesome. Like I think they have a full 10 that they play. Yeah, it's just 2 words: Braden Smith.
Yeah,
he's the second best point guard in the country, if not the best. So yeah, Braden Smith.
I believe this is High Point's first time ever in the tournament. I believe.
Correct.
And then Purdue played for a national championship last year and returns
exactly 1 year ago.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think Matt Painter, and I do think experience really matters. And when you're a High Point team that it's like the biggest celebration in school history because you guys have made the tournament, it's tough to then turn around and have that same excitement and that same like they're happy to
especially
be there.
Since it's been like a week and a half.
Right.
They played on Monday.
They're happy to be there. Purdue is like, hey, we're business as usual. Yeah. We're in the tournament, and I think that matters. So I'm going Purdue here.
All right, Illinois will play the winner of Texas and Xavier. Texas had an inspiring, I'll say. Xavier's been playing great late. Texas had an inspiring run there for a half second in the SEC tournament. Beat A&M in double overtime. Had a semi decent game with Tennessee. Texas is a team that's loaded with talent. I think they look just completely disjointed, seemingly every single time I watch them play, but. They got dudes that can fucking go. I'll put it that way. Illinois, same sort of thing, same sort of profile of like, Yakachunas is like going to be a lottery pick, and when he's rolling, you can see why. But also like
Stitch is really good.
They take so many threes and don't ever make them, but then every so often they do. Like the Oregon game comes to mind. They played at Oregon and like I think they scored 100 points or close to it, and they just couldn't miss. So Illinois is a team full of immense potential. Texas is a team full of immense potential. I feel like Xavier is like more of a steady force. So part of me wants to pick Xavier, especially Xavier in a playing game in Dayton is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I might have to go to that.
Crazy.
I kind of want to see that.
Crazy for Xavier fans. I have to imagine.
Travel.
I have to imagine Xavier's going to win that game. I think I might like Xavier to beat Illinois too. I think Illinois is just like. Illinois is such an up and down team, and it's just solely relying on whether they're hitting shots. I don't love their mindset. I don't love some of the coaching decisions that have been made throughout the year. I don't love that they lost to Duke by 4,000 fucking points. And if you're betting on Illinois, you're just betting on a team that doesn't shoot the ball well. This to be the night that shots are falling.
But they'll shoot it.
They will keep shooting it. And they're frustrating as fuck to watch because they have so much size and so much talent, and they just don't utilize it. And I think I'm going to take Xavier to beat Texas and Illinois both.
It's also I'm on Texas and Xavier here as well. Simply, it also part of it's hedging because one of these playing games will win.
Always,
yeah.
And I see both. I see the path for both. And yeah, like if Texas wins, you get the best player on the floor in Trey Johnson. Even though Rodney Terry has no idea how to use Trey Johnson, he is the best player when he gets the ball. And also, Tremont Mark has hit like 4 game winners this year. Like he's massive down the stretch. I do like Illinois. Like I think Underwood is just trying. He's so confused with this team, like the rest of America, which is a problem when you're the head coach. Even though I love Underwood, it's like you have the talent in a Visic, you have the talent in a Boswell, you have talent in how do you pronounce his name? Yakachonis. And
Kasparis.
Is Johnson back? The big.
I actually don't know. I don't know.
Because another guy that's
a good
just,
question.
Super talented. But yeah, it's hard to trust a team in a one-off setting that relies so much on outside shooting that hasn't shown they can shoot the ball.
Yeah.
So yeah, Texas or Xavier for me.
Johnson, I believe it says played in the Big Ten tournament. Yeah, I like Illinois here. I hate that I'm picking against any sort of play-in game. There's always one of those.
Right.
I love Xavier in Dayton. I've wanted to manifest so bad Ohio State versus Xavier in Dayton. It didn't happen. But Illinois about hit rock bottom. I would say they did hit rock bottom when they lost by 100 points, worst in program history against Duke. They sort of turned it around. They beat the shit out of Iowa. They go to Michigan, win by 20. They beat Purdue. They beat Iowa by putting up 100 points. They're starting to get healthier. Yeah, they got their shit kicked in by Maryland. But there was a time where Illinois was here. I would say they're trending upward. I'm taking Illinois.
All right. That brings us to Kentucky, Troy. I'll make it simple. Kentucky, Troy stinks. I don't think Troy's good at all. I think Troy averages 14 turnovers a game. They don't shoot threes well. They were blown out by the power conference teams that they played this year. I just simply do not think Troy is that good, and I'm taking Kentucky to beat them.
Kentucky.
That's pretty simple.
Yeah, Lamont Butler's hurt.
Who are you going to pick, Reegs? Think about it.
I think I got to do it. I mean, Kentucky loses the double-digit seeds.
Take your time. Don't be hasty, Reegs.
It's the Kentucky fucking Wildcats. Please, just please win. Just please win.
Please, one time. UCLA, Utah State. I've already picked 2 Mountain West teams. I can't do 3 Mountain West. And UCLA, I know they haven't finished particularly strong against. I don't know. I guess they have. I don't know. They had a stretch there where they were bad. Then Mick Cronin threw his team under the bus. Everyone started clutching their pearls about it. And they're like, a coach can't talk about his players that way. And Mick Cronin was like, watch me. I will. Suck my dick. I'll throw all my players under the bus.
Saw the Statue of Liberty a bunch of times.
Twice.
Twice.
And then they started winning. They went on a long winning streak, and they looked really good. And then now it's been a little up and down since then. But, the last time we see them is in the Big Ten tournament. Wisconsin couldn't miss against them and blows them out. But I think UCLA takes care of business against Utah State. And most of my logic behind this pick is that I'm not picking 3 Mountain West teams to win in the first.
Yeah,
I'm
that
not
checks
doing
out.
that. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
I'm on UCLA too. Homecoming game for Mick Cronin from Cincinnati, playing down in Lexington, also coached at Louisville. So there will be a handful of UCLA fans there just because they're Mick Cronin fans. Also, kind of weird the 2 West teams are coming out.
Yeah, I agree.
To Lexington. So
that is weird.
No distance thing there. Yeah, give me UCLA.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm good with you.
All right, now it's going to get interesting. We move on to the second round. And again, as a reminder, this is
Tennessee for the last.
Tennessee. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I just assumed all the 1s and 2s.
Yeah.
We were all going to go Tennessee as well. It's not going to take as long for the rest of the rounds. The first round always takes forever because we're also talking about matchups that will happen. Now we're just talking about hypotheticals. I'll go first. I have Auburn, Louisville. I badly want to take Louisville. I so fucking badly want to take Louisville in Lexington.
Do it then.
Louisville is playing so well. Auburn is not. Every fiber of my being wants to take Louisville to beat Auburn. But I'm a pussy, and I think that's important to remember. I think one thing to remember about me is I am a pussy, and I won't do it. And Bruce Pearl said, in light of Bruce Pearl saying his guards aren't pussies in the SEC tournament, I thought that was interesting because I watched that, and I thought, but I am, Bruce.
Yeah.
I am a pussy, and I'm too scared to pick Louisville. But God damn it, I want to. I think ultimately my problem is this. I think this year is so fucking top heavy, and I think that all the 1s and 2s are so much better than everybody else. And I just don't see Auburn. I don't see their season ending in the second round this year. I can't see them losing in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
But Louisville and Lexington looks.
Who's guarding Broome?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You're throwing Noah Waterman out there to try to guard people.
Louisville just lost to Duke without Cooper Flagg,
Right.
which they played pretty well, but Malik Brown, but they
and I know
lost.
Louisville's all hurt, whatever, but
they lost by double digits. And Auburn, Auburn's been the best team in the country for most of this.
Yep.
Yeah, they're not losing to Louisville, but God damn it, I want to. If I wasn't a pussy, I would. If I wasn't a pussy, I would.
I would say Louisville is 0-4 against the SEC this year. Auburn, if you guys recall, won the SEC. I know that was a long fucking time ago because they've lost. What have they lost? 3 or 4?
3 or 4.
Uh-oh, Titus.
3 or 4.
That's cold. But Auburn won the SEC. Louisville 0-4 against them. Give me Auburn.
Yeah, I'm taking Auburn over Creighton for me. It's as simple as 4 games versus what are we looking at? They've played 33, so 29. Yeah, it's Auburn.
Yeah.
It's Auburn.
Yeah. All right, I have Michigan, Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M will have answers for Michigan in a way that UC San Diego did not. I think Texas A&M's strengths are, as we've said before, rebounding the basketball, playing physical brand of basketball. I think Michigan has used their size throughout the season to their advantage, and I think Texas A&M. This is a matchup that favors Texas A&M. I know Texas A&M has been losing a lot, but there have to be some SEC teams that when they step outside of the conference, they can take a deep breath and be like, finally, we get outside of the gauntlet that was the SEC. I know Michigan wins the close games. I think this is a good matchup for Texas A&M. I think but Michigan just fucking keeps finding a way, man. Cody, celebrity pick.
Michigan.
All right. I'm picking Michigan. I was about to take A&M. I was
That's good because I'm taking A&M in spite of Cody now.
I was setting it up for A&M, and then I paused and I thought, let Cody decide.
Yeah, it's A&M for every reason you said too. Or why you were starting to talk good about A&M is why I'm taking them. I think they have the bigs that can just bother Vlad Golden. Like A&M is massive.
Mm-hmm.
They're one of the few teams that sees the Michigan 2 7-footers and they're like, oh yeah, we have 8 of them right here. So come on. Again, how does Michigan get rebounds? A&M's whole strategy is miss shots, get rebound, score, and then Wade Taylor and Zurich Phelps save us. I like this A&M team. I'm taking them.
Yeah, Riggs and I watched UC Irvine versus UC San Diego last night.
Yeah.
I took UC San Diego to beat Michigan. I'll admit that was because I'm not picking Michigan, but I wasn't really. Everyone's high on UC. Maybe we saw. I don't know. I didn't like what I saw from the conference. It wasn't very good.
Oh, UC San Diego game last night?
I wasn't impressed with either team.
No, I didn't think they were good at all.
Yeah, and everyone's telling me they're supposed to be good.
Yeah,
and I watched them.
They were good at all.
So my thing is, I think Texas A&M they looked like obviously it's not a power conference. They looked like smaller than what we had been watching for the last 72 hours.
Yeah.
A&M bullies them.
And if you noticed last night, I don't know if you had the audio on. The rim sounded bad.
Oh,
like the way they missed, it just sounded not right. They missed badly. It was bad sound.
The brick sound,
the brick sound was like not a good sounding brick. I have North Carolina, Iowa State. I think North Carolina's run ends here. I think they win the playing game. They beat Ole Miss. They start talking themselves into why not us? Why can't we do like a miracle run like we did in all those years ago when it was 2022, 3 years ago now. God damn, RJ Davis was on that team. He's still on this team. I think Iowa State, assuming that they can stay healthy and keep guys on the floor, Iowa State is a buzzsaw and will just fuck North Carolina's life up.
Yeah, I have Ole Miss, Iowa State. I do think that Iowa State is a contender. I mean, they were at the middle of the season, they were an absolute contender. They have cooled off a little bit. I'm going with the SEC again here, and I'm going Ole Miss 6th seed into the Sweet 16.
Yeah, Iowa State. Every reason you guys said, you can move it along.
New Mexico versus Michigan State is my matchup. What do you got?
I have Marquette.
You have Marquette. You have New Mexico.
Michigan State.
There's something going on with this Michigan State team.
Did you see Tom Izzo's quote after the loss yesterday?
What did he say?
He was like, someone was asking him about being happy and not being happy, and he's like, "You're damn right." People ask me why I'm not happy. I will never be happy until Michigan State accomplishes what I think Michigan State can accomplish. They're winning this game.
There's something about this team.
They're winning.
They're dialed in. It's like I've said everything there is to say about them. I feel like after this season, like is they keep winning despite every instinct of inside me looking at their roster and looking at the makeup of the team, being like they shouldn't be able to do this, but they find a way. They're all so bought in. There's something magical happening with this Michigan State team, and I don't think the ride ends in the second round against New Mexico. Give me Michigan State.
Yep, I'm doing the same thing over Marquette though. Michigan State, Tom Izzo, March, Michigan State.
I have Florida, Oklahoma, Jordan Brand classic type game, SEC matchup between the Jordan Brands. They played already this year, I assume. Let's just you know what? I'll just take whoever won that one when they played earlier this year.
Florida beat them by 22.
Oh, did they? That's interesting. I'll take Florida.
Tough to beat a team 2 times, Titus. Isn't that what they say?
Florida is red fucking hot, and they are so good.
Give me Florida.
Yeah, I got Florida UConn in my matchup here. And again, it's like, should you be scared of UConn? And my answer is Florida looks like the best team in the country, so I'll take that team.
Yeah. That's pretty simple. I mean, Florida, the Sweet 16 feels pretty safe at this point, right?
Yeah.
Colorado State, Maryland is my matchup. Whew.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It gets interesting. It gets interesting. Colorado State, Maryland is my matchup. Now, Colorado State, why were they not good, Reegs, this year? Why were they not better?
They couldn't
than
win
what
away
were?
from home for the longest time.
Why were they not better than like?
What they do in the non-conference?
Okay, let's.
They weren't very good in the
non-conference. They lose to Washington. They lose to Colorado. They lose to UC Riverside. Oh my God! They lost to New Mexico twice.
The answer is they've gotten hot, boys. They're on a 10.
They have gotten very, very hot. The answer is fucking Nick Clifford can't stop scoring. He's got
and
it.
Ethan Morton. You can't replace.
You can't. And it's Ethan Morton, the championship DNA inside of Ethan Morton. Maryland's defense is too good. They're going to stop. They're going to the run Colorado State's on. I think Maryland's going to guard them well and beat them. And
Maryland also just feels like the team that was destined from the beginning of the year when people started talking about them in the Crab Five of being the 4 seed in the best teams region and losing in the Sweet 16.
Right.
That's just their destiny. So that's what I'm doing here. Maryland winning this game.
Yeah, Maryland will have the 2 biggest dudes on the court at all times. I think Derek Queen dominates. I'm going Maryland.
You had Colorado State as well?
I did.
Yeah. We all picked Colorado State to win.
So congrats
over
to Memphis in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, Memphis is moving on to the Sweet 16. I have Missouri, Texas Tech. Who do you have?
I have the same.
Same. We all have the same. Good fucking game.
I love
good fucking game. I'll just say that.
I'll throw it out there. I love Texas Tech. I think everyone all week has been talking about the 2 seeds, and every time you guys talk about the 2 seeds, I say Texas Tech's got to be in there, right? Texas Tech. I think they're a really good 3 seed. I'm taking Texas Tech.
Yeah, I think JT Toppin is an All-American. I think what Christian Anderson is starting to develop into really, really good. Grant McCaslin. Mizzou's kind of just a little too up and down for me in terms of like they looked apart, but then they just go on these like kind of like droughts, for lack of a better word, even defensively.
Mm-hmm.
I love this Texas Tech team. I might do something crazy with them. Give me Texas Tech winning.
I agree with it. I'm picking Texas Tech as well. Missouri has closed the season poorly. You said it, Riggs. The defense is suspect. I think you fall in love with Missouri when the offense is rolling and all these guys are hitting all their shots.
And they get the steal, the live turnovers and all that. Yeah.
It's been a hell of a season for Missouri. Congrats to them. But I think Tate and I exhale and say, thank God we don't have to go to.
They didn't win a game in the SEC last year. We're getting to this
after they run into Texas Tech. Yeah, I mean a 6 seed. It's been a great season, but Texas Tech is so fucking good. And you're right, Tate. They very easily could have been a 2 seed if
they won. If they beat Arizona.
Yeah.
Well, then who knows? Could anybody been asleep?
I have Kansas St. John's, the preseason number 1 team in the country. This is Bill Self taking on St. John's, a team that has lost by a combined 7 points in their 4 losses. Dominated the Big East in the regular season. Dominated the Big East in the tournament. There's something magical going on with St. John's. Kansas, the defensive slugfest in this game, we'll say that. Kansas, I do think there's a world where they sort of put it together. I do think that there's I want to talk myself into this so badly. Kansas just will not be able to score, though. St. John's offense is so fucking good, and I just can't envision a world or St. John's defense, I should say, is so fucking good, and I just can't envision a world where Kansas is going to be able to score the basketball on them. Whereas I can't envision a world where St. John's gets steals, forces turnovers, gets out and go. You get out and go and push tempo and just, I don't know. St. John's is as dialed in right now as any team in the country. I know they're not it's probably not fair to call them the best given what else is out there. And I don't know what their top end talent, RJ Lewis is fucking awesome and Richmond's awesome, but they don't, as far as go to
Ejiofor is really
Ejiofor is really fucking good, but as far as the go to type scorers, they're not on the same, they're not quite as reliable. But I don't think it fucking matters. I think St. John's, I think there's something magical happening with St. John's, and I think St. John's beats Kansas.
This will be my first biggest upset of the tournament here. I'm picking Kansas to beat St. John's. I do really like St. John's.
We got Rico Bosco on the.
Well, I like everything that's going on with St. John's. I was texting people from New York today. I was like, this has to be so much fun to be around.
What does that mean?
It's Rico.
You're texting people from New York? What does that mean?
I mean, like how great? Like, do you guys? Is there like magic in New York City right now? What does that mean? What do you mean? What does that?
I mean, there's like how many millions of people in New York that you're like.
I'm saying
you said that. You said that like so. You said that like you had.
You're forgetting that I qualified it with. I am a fan of what's going on with St. John's. I was texting people in New York today to talk about
see what the magic is.
Is like the vibes like hey, we've all rallied around St. John's. The Garden was bumping. I really enjoyed watching the Big East tournament. With that being said, look at what St. John's has done. If you're a believer that the Big East was good this year, which I would say we would all agree that the Big East was not very good this year, they have won the Big East, the conference title in the regular season and the conference championship in the tournament. What did they do beforehand? I'm not seeing anything that's made them look like there's a reason they're 30-4 and they're a 2 seed. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. Yeah.
My thing is that St.
Not only a 2 seed, the last 2 seed.
The last 2 seed. St. John's is going to play defense. Kansas is going to play defense. I think that Kansas has the talent to make some shots, score the basketball. I'm picking and here's a big reason I'm doing it. I'm picking Texas Tech either way in the next game.
Okay, yeah.
Stole what I was going to do, you asshole. I'm taking St. John's here.
Stole my flow.
You were going to pick Kansas?
No, I'm picking Texas Tech in the next round.
Oh, fuck it.
But, yeah, I like St. John's. I also can't live in a world where John Calipari's in the Sweet 16 in round 1 or year 1. But, again, it's like it doesn't matter if it's Arkansas or Kansas. The St. John's defense just eliminates every single thing. And Rick Pitino in Providence, like that crowd is going to be – Mike Rapoli might buy Providence by the end of it. St. John's.
All right, we'll all have St. John's onto the Sweet 16. I have Duke Baylor.
I don't. I have Kansas.
Oh, you have Kansas onto the Sweet
Yeah,
16.
yep.
I forgot. You're a dumb bitch.
Yep.
I forgot he's a dumb
Quote that. Clip that.
You have Kansas. That's right. I was getting ahead of myself. You had Texas. You both had Texas Tech in the Elite Eight, which I might do as well, which we'll get to when we get back over there. I have Duke Baylor on the other side of the bracket. Duke. I think this is the game Cooper Flag comes back for.
Shout out TJ. TJ hit us up. Shire did just say that the goal is Friday. The goal is Friday.
The first game. He's going to play in the first game. I think he suits up. He probably start. I think he's on a minutes restriction. I think they tested out Friday. I think the second round game against Baylor or Mississippi State will be when he's
plays
fully back.
Yep.
And I think they're gonna fucking crush him. I think if you've paid attention to the show all year, you know how I feel about Duke. If you're new to the show, I fucking love Duke. Yeah. I love not in general, not the entity, not the program. I love this specific team. I think this team is very, very talented. I think they have no weaknesses, and I think they have the best player in the country. And he will be joining the fold in earnest against Baylor, and they'll fucking crush them. And Duke will go on to the Sweet 16. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's my prediction.
It's Duke.
Yeah, Duke.
I have Arizona versus Oregon, a classic Big 12 versus Big 10 matchup of Arizona, Oregon. These teams, when's the last time they played each other? When's the last time Arizona and Oregon played each other?
1939
Goddamn, dude.
Tournament?
It's not often that the Big 12 and Big 10 play each other, but we're going to get that with Arizona and Oregon. Offense, defense, I feel like Arizona feels more volatile to me. It's sort of a coin flip. I don't know. Which one am I leaning here?
I kind of think Oregon feels volatile too because
Oregon does too. I guess you're right.
Like, what's their
offense goes
I know
away.
they fiddle in what's it, Shellstat.
Where's this game taking place?
This would be in
Seattle.
West
Coast.
No.
Oregon and Arizona. Seattle's.
Seattle.
I
think I might have to go Oregon.
How is Oregon playing in Seattle as a 5 seed?
How is Oregon? Hang on.
Some of the things like that don't match up, Reeks.
Like, how do you protect the 5 seed over the 4 seed?
I don't know. Wisconsin is also not in Milwaukee, and who's
the Kentucky's the 3 in Milwaukee.
I think Arizona's probably the better team, but I want to go
6.
Oregon.
Yeah.
Fucking Oregon and Seattle. I like Dana Altman. I think I like Dana Altman, and Arizona will fuck it up in the tournament. We know that they never go as far as you think they should go. So I think this is the game where they fuck it up. I think a lot of people are going to have Arizona losing to Duke. I think they trip up before they even get to Duke, and I think Oregon beats them.
I have Oregon versus Akron. I do love the Zips, but I can't pick them to make the Sweet 16.
Why not? Who says you can't? That's not in the rule book.
It's not in the rule book.
Can't.
But can I tell you this? I had to pick my Zips because I've been rocking the Zips now. They would have to go to Seattle, out on the West Coast, and beat Arizona and then turn around and beat Oregon.
Yeah.
Odds are that's probably not going to happen. I don't want to screw up my bracket by doing so. I will take the Zips to win round 1, but I think Oregon, with the 7-footer against the smallest team in the country, I will take the Ducks into the Sweet 16.
I'm going Arizona. First off, I want to watch Duke Arizona. That just feels like college basketball.
Yeah,
Like it just brings me back to
it's good shit.
parents' basement.
It's good shit.
So and again, I know how volatile like everything about Arizona basketball is, and Caleb Love. But there's a reason that Arizona's good.
Yeah.
And it's the fact that like Caleb Love played really well in the Big 12 tournament. Little scared he peaked early, but they do still have Bradley, Lewis, and Visar and all those other guys. And also I think like Carter Bryant can end up being really good. So give me Arizona.
Yeah, he's been playing great lately. Yeah, they had a great Big 12 tournament. Arizona, it wouldn't surprise me at all. If Arizona made the Sweet 16. I have BYU Wisconsin next.
This is
I have the same.
so hard to pick.
What a game this would be.
This would
so
be fun.
so fucking fun. Boy, this is a coin flip.
BYU,
This is,
Wisconsin in Denver.
I think it's BYU. I think BYU is going to be very comfortable. Like anything Wisconsin throws at them, they're going to be very comfortable. Now you could say vice versa, but I think BYU might have better athletes, and I think BYU. God damn, this is a close game. I think I want to go BYU because also on top of everything else, the tiebreaker for me is I need some more upsets in my bracket. Which I know 6 over 3 isn't like the most stunning thing, but I do need to spice in some upsets. And number 2, I think everyone around these parts is looking at Wisconsin-Bama, the idea of Bosco and Big Cat.
I'm looking at that.
Yeah,
and I think it's going to fall apart. I think the fact that like it's so perfect and that they would play each other, I think it's not even going to happen because Wisconsin's going to lose before then. So I'm taking BYU to the Sweet 16 over Wisconsin.
I am picking Wisconsin. I love Tanji. I think he's my most fun player to watch. He couldn't hit the broadside of a barn today. I'm with you. It's an interesting matchup for Wisconsin, but I'm betting with my heart also because there's nothing I would rather do on March 27th than sit in the same room as one Rico Bosco and one Dan Katz with a bus bet on the line and watch those two.
That would be fucking awesome.
That would be fun.
That would be awesome. That would be a lot of fun. Yeah.
That'd be fun. Give me Wisconsin.
That would be a lot of
Not
fun.
going to happen, is it?
No, it could happen. I believe in this Wisconsin team more than some of the recent teams, but I think BYU is just a bad matchup. I think.
Give me
and playing in altitude, I think favors BYU.
Yeah, I'm taking Wisconsin. This was the toughest one for me because they're basically the same team, and then with their shooting. But you mentioned Tanji. I love John Blackwell and his game and everything else. Give me Wisconsin at the buzzer.
At the buzzer.
You're
calling your shot. Wisconsin at the buzzer. Clip that, Cody.
I love
when
it.
It happens.
Only put it out if it happens.
I have St. Mary's, Bama. I'll make it quick. I think it's easier for Bama to speed up St. Mary's than it's going to be easier for Bama to speed St. Mary's up than it is for St. Mary's to slow Bama down. I think Bama has better athletes and better basketball players, and I think Alabama wins rather easily. I'm taking Bama over St. Mary's.
Bama over Vandy pretty quickly.
Bama already beat Vandy pretty handily this year. This will be the second time they played. I'm taking Bama as well.
All right, now it gets interesting for me. Houston versus Gonzaga. 9 straight Sweet 16 state.
You are
9 straight Sweet 16.
That you're a trend guy.
I'm a trend guy. I'm a like it's right in front of your face. Believe in it until it doesn't happen, and then change. And then change, pivot moving forward. But for right now, Gonzaga's made 9 straight Sweet 16s. Why would they not make a Sweet 16 here? The answer is because Houston is just much, much better than them. Houston is much better than them. Gonzaga, for what it's worth, like the Ken Palms of the world love Gonzaga.
Yeah,
still.
Yes, they
feel
He fucking loves Gonzaga.
Where they at?
I just think Houston can put the clamps on them, and Houston's a fucking buzzsaw, and I think this iteration of Houston is destined to do something great. What's the Juwan Roberts situation though?
Well, earlier today, Rothstein said he's getting reevaluated, which kind of scares me. But again, I think I said this to you, Titus. We have not seen a Houston team that can shoot the ball the way that this team can, and have the guards in Uzan, Sharp, and Cryer. Like that might be the best 3-guard lineup that America has.
I keep saying chalk heavy tournament. I can't have one seeds losing before the Sweet 16. If
That's insane.
So I got to pick Houston.
Gonzaga's 9 on Ken Palm right now.
They're 9th on Ken Palm. We get a 3 versus 9 matchup of Ken Palm in the second round.
Houston
Houston's 3, right? Florida's 2, I think.
Florida's 2.
Yeah,
Houston's
that's crazy.
3 versus 9.
What do you guys got?
I have
Houston.
I took Georgia to beat Gonzaga. So I have Houston, Georgia, which is an easy one. I think, and you'll hear me say this in a little bit, we have been talking one seeds like, oh, number 1 overall, Auburn versus Duke. Wait, Florida's doing this. Florida's jumped in Ken Palm. It almost seems like Houston has quietly gone 30-4 and had an easy 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
I think, is it possible to be disrespected as the Big 12 champion at 30-4?
Houston is the most underrated team in the country.
I think they're really,
stop
really
talking
good.
about them.
They're really, really good. Their offense is substantially better than it had been. Their defense is always obviously Houston here, but you're gonna hear me say it a couple times, I think.
All right. And Riggs, you're obviously
Houston.
said Houston. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I have Clemson, Purdue.
So I think we all do, right?
We all do. We're all in Clemson,
Yes.
Purdue. Fuck.
I'm going Clemson.
I think I am too. I think I'm going Clemson.
I'm going Purdue.
I think Clemson's just a better team. I think Purdue is top heavy in terms of like talent, production, and all that.
This also
And-
just
and-
feels like ACC. We talk about how bad they are, then they have half the Elite Eight.
And I Clemson plays defense and Purdue doesn't, and I think Clemson takes care of Purdue.
You can give me Purdue, TJ. I still am enamored with experience, and I know Clemson did go far last year, but Purdue, Braden Smith, one of my favorite players in the country. I love the guard play. Give me Purdue over Clemson.
All right. I'm looking at Clemson's run. So Clemson lost to Georgia Tech in 3 overtimes. They lost to South Carolina in overtime, Memphis in overtime, Boise State in November, and then they lost to Louisville twice. So, yeah, Louisville has their number a little bit, but I don't even know what the conclusion is from that, to be honest with you. That was one of those deals where I was just saying shit.
You're really hoping for something.
I was waiting for something to materialize in my brain. No, I think Clemson's a hell of a basketball team. I think they play great defense. They shoot the ball well. They have multiple guys who can score. And I like Clemson a lot. So I think I'll take Clemson over Purdue. Xavier, Kentucky.
That would be tough on the heart. It's Kentucky.
Xavier, Kentucky. Let me think about this one. What do you guys have?
I have Illinois, Kentucky. In Milwaukee, it's intriguing. Riggsy, why don't you? You're rocking with Kentucky, but talk to me about. Do you feel good about it, or you just have to take?
Assuming Lamont Butler's back, I feel good about it because Lamont Butler can absolutely disrupt whatever Illinois guard is out there, whatever Texas guard is out there, whatever Xavier guard's out there. We lost at Texas when we had no guard, and when we kind of played terrible the second half there. I'm not worried about being in Milwaukee. Kentucky fans will travel all over the place.
Right.
That's not really a concern. It's an intriguing matchup no matter how you look at it. Assuming Lamont Butler is playing, which it all sounds like it is, I just think that he provides enough of like that foundation piece on the front end of the defense. And I'm not worried about the stinker against Alabama. Like, Alabama's just the worst possible matchup, especially without a lead guard. So give me Kentucky to make the Sweet 16.
I'm going to take Kentucky to make the Sweet 16. This is, for me, when you're filling out a bracket, I'm not sure if Illinois, Texas, or Xavier is going to be there. I am sure Kentucky is.
Right.
So I want to win the next one, and I'm going to take
Smart play.
Kentucky.
Smart
Play the numbers.
You ever do the thing? I used to do this back in the day where I would have a team lose. You sacrifice the perfect bracket, but you have a team lose in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
But then you say, I'm going to have them make the Elite Eight nonetheless. So that way, because back in the day they used to not grade it on computers. It used to be like hand graded. So the people would just look
Highlighters.
just like highlight. If you had it, you had the right Elite Eight pick. Highlight. You had the right Elite Eight.
I've never done that.
I would have like Kentucky.
You've never
lose.
highlighted?
No, I've never chosen a team to lose and make the Elite Eight.
I felt like a fucking genius in sixth grade, dude. I'd have like Kentucky lose in the first round, but then also make the Elite Eight. So that way, it was like insurance, and you're not gonna have a perfect bracket, but you could still get the points later on,
Right.
for having them in the Elite Eight. I have Kentucky winning this one. I think this is a favorable matchup for Kentucky. I think you keep talking about Lamont Butler if he's fine, especially, but Xavier likes to push tempo a little bit. Xavier's not elite defensively, and I think there's a little bit of the local flavor, which I know they're not exactly in the same state, but they're close enough that I think Kentucky's just simply not going to lose to Xavier. I just can't picture a world where Kentucky's losing to Xavier. How embarrassing would that be? That'd be so fun.
That'd be very embarrassing.
Very embarrassing.
I wouldn't want to live to Cincinnati if that happened.
I have UCLA, Tennessee. as my matchup, but just a gross, disgusting basketball game. I think Tennessee has more scores. Scoring is going to be scoring is going to be a premium in this game, and I think Tennessee has better scores, and they have been playing better basketball throughout the totality of the season. Give me Tennessee.
I enjoyed watching Tennessee this week. I know they got beat pretty handily by Florida today, but I was out-ish on them about midway through the season, and they have turned it back on. They beat Alabama, they beat Texas, then they beat Auburn. They did lose to Florida. I like Tennessee more than I liked Tennessee 2 weeks ago. I'm taking Tennessee.
Yeah, I agree that Tennessee kind of brought me back into, this is still a really good team. They're usually elite defensively. Lanier can get hot. Ziegler can make threes. I'm taking UCLA. This reminds me.
Hey, Riggsy.
This reminds me a little bit of, remember when Tennessee lost to Michigan in the round of 32?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of has that little feel to it.
Michigan was 11, I think, that year. 11-3 game, I think it was.
Mick Cronin, you get him to cook up that defense on a short rest. He can cut the head off the snake. That's kind of what his whole MO is defensively. UCLA's kind of flown under the radar, too.
They have. They've flown on.
We talked about it earlier.
I think it's because they're in the Big Ten. I think that hurt them, actually, in terms of.
I also just need something weird. I was looking at a lot of 1-4s and 2-3s in the Sweet 16, so give me UCLA.
All right, so Sweet 16 is said. I have 1-5, 1-5-3-2, 1-4-3-2, 1-5-6-2, and 1-5-3-2. So I was true to my word. I told you. I warned you. I was going to go chalk.
The lesser bracket show right now, the one on ESPN that they're doing.
Yeah.
Jay Williams just finished his bracket. His regionals: 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2.
What a coward!
I don't like this.
What a fucking coward this guy is. What a pussy.
That's why they pay him the big bucks.
What a pussy, dude. He just went 1-2.
He just hit autofill.
All right,
he hit autofill.
In the South, I got Auburn and Michigan State both advanced. All right, so let's talk about Auburn. I don't think Auburn's winning the national championship. I think Auburn is in a position where they peaked too soon. I think they weren't as good as they thought they were. Where they had the incredible run in terms of resume, but I brought it up on the show a handful of times. They had way more close calls than anyone seemed to want to acknowledge. We just only looked at they beat this team, this team, this team, this team. When you apply the context, you're like, yeah, they squeaked by South Carolina. They were down 18 to Iowa State. They were winning these games, but it's not like they're dominant and it's Auburn versus everyone else. Down the stretch, it does feel like they've become extremely volatile. Not just that they're losing games. I think you watch them play, and I made this observation when they lost to Tennessee in the SEC tournament. We're watching that game. I think Miles Kelly hits a three, and Dylan Cardwell. There was a stretch where every bucket they had, Dylan Cardwell was going like this.
He's the number one this guy in the country.
Get him going.
He's good.
Get him going, and the bench is getting him going. And we're hitting our chest, and we're pointing at the crowd, and we're getting him going. And I just felt that is good in some instances to be let's get some juice here.
Typically
get everybody
when you're
going.
at home.
I don't think it's good when you hit a three and then you behave like you just cut a 10-point lead, like you just tied the game when you're down 10 and you hit a three and you're now getting it
It's
going.
his favorite move, though, I will say.
I'm not singling out him.
Yeah.
I'm singling out that entire team. I think there's a cultural problem with Auburn basketball. I think they play stupid basketball at times. Chad Baker-Mazara is obviously the number one offender of just dumb, flagrant fouls here and there. I think that in general they have too much confidence almost, Tate. I feel like they get too excited. They feel like they're blowing teams out when they're not. And I think that's been their downfall down the stretch. Having said all that, I'm picturing Auburn playing Michigan in a Sweet 16 game in Atlanta. There's just no fucking world where Michigan is going to beat them.
Right.
There's just not.
If you were going to do it, you should have. I should have
done it with Louisville. I should have had Louisville beat Auburn
because Michigan can't beat Auburn.
I just don't think Michigan can beat Auburn, and that's what's giving me pause here. So I have to have Auburn go on to the elite.
Who did you have? Did you have A&M beating Yale? So you had Michigan beating A&M.
I had A&M beating Yale. Yeah.
So that's the spot I'm torn with. Right, I'm with you. Auburn and Michigan. Auburn beats Michigan. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
But Auburn and A&M, they've played one time this year, and A&M beat them. And also, wasn't it wire to wire at A&M?
Yeah, it was wire to wire.
A&M was in the middle of
It was wire to
four.
wire.
A&M had lost 4 in a row.
Dominated them a little bit.
This is where I'm nervous because Auburn plays. I have them playing Texas A&M in the Sweet 16.
Do it, Tate. Do it.
But can I tell you something? I'm looking ahead, and I don't think I believe in Michigan State as a Final Four team. So who the fuck are you taking out of this bracket?
I know.
I wish it was I wish it was anywhere else.
I wish
dude.
flip Florida and Auburn. We're having a whole different story right now.
100%. For that reason, I am going to take Auburn. Fuck, I hate this so much because I'm with you. I don't love Auburn anymore. I also think there's something wrong with them. I also think that A&M already beat them, but I don't really want to take Michigan State to the Final Four. I'm taking Auburn to win this game.
Yeah, I'm taking Auburn to win this game. I guess it's fair if you're the number 1 overall seed to have the easiest bracket, but it does feel like bullshit because I didn't want to take Auburn this far.
Yeah. As a reminder, if I wasn't a pussy, I would have taken Louisville. As a reminder. But I am a pussy.
It's just I'm looking at
pussy,
the region and I'm going.
Can't do anything about that now.
I'm looking at the region, just going, where's the true slip up?
Yeah.
From an opposing team standpoint of like I just don't like this matchup and I can't find it. So
Auburn is the luckiest team in the country for this bracket. Some people were saying it's a tough one because Michigan State's in it.
They're the number 1 overall seed. They're not lucky. That's how it should be.
No, but my point is yes, they're the number 1 overall seed, but they limped in by losing 3 of 4 to become the number 1 overall seed. Florida, if we were arguing right now, Florida at 30-4 SEC champions against Auburn 28-5, I get what they did at the beginning of the season. Florida could very easily be the number 1 overall team.
Who's favored on a neutral if they play today?
Florida.
Of course, right?
And they're the 4 seed and they're in the group of death when there's probably 2 or 3 teams down there that I would like to take to the Final Four. That's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, the whole season matters, man. Whole season matters. Iowa State, Michigan State is next up for me. I badly want to take Iowa State. Again, if I wasn't a pussy, this is what I do. I'm going to write a book after I do this bracket called If I Wasn't a Pussy. And I'm going to explain everything that I would have done. I like the idea of Iowa State beating Auburn in the Elite Eight and going to the Final Four. I don't know how healthy Iowa State is. I don't know. I don't know what version of Iowa State we're getting. I don't know. There's too many question marks around Iowa State for me to trust that they're going to string. I guess it would take 4 wins to get to the Final Four. I'm going to go Michigan State reluctantly. Michigan State, I do think. Well, we can get to it later. I'm going to take Michigan State.
I have Michigan State over Ole Miss, setting up the 1 versus 2 matchup in the Elite Eight.
I have Iowa State.
Wow.
I think maybe.
Wow, shaking it up.
I know. I went 1-3. I went
We have
1-3.
2 1-2s, and then Reek said not so fast.
Not so fast.
1-3.
Yeah, I can't shake what I saw, and I know they're banged up. I'm hoping they get healthier. Just can't shake what I saw. Again, the whole season matters earlier in the season from Iowa State. Like I just don't think they have that.
Started 15-1 with their one loss being to Auburn in Maui when they were up 18 on them. Yeah.
I can't shake that. So give me Iowa State.
But they've they're what 9-8 down the stretch. Is that right? That would be 9-8 down the stretch. Yikes. I have Florida, Maryland. Florida's playing the best basketball in the country probably right now. I think Maryland is good, not great. I think Maryland has depth problems. I saw a stat today that Maryland has not won a game in which Derek Queen has made a 3-point shot. I might be getting ball sacked.
So you can't.
I don't know. I don't know.
So let him shoot.
I think like weirdly you think of Derek Queen being versatile and being able to do all this stuff, but actually when he is doing that might actually be bad for Maryland. Just you want him down on the block, just dominating low post. Florida's playing the best basketball. They have an answer for just about anything Maryland can throw at them. I'm taking Florida.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Kevin Willard is just Mark Turgeon with a different name.
Extended today.
I know. And
top 10 paid coach in the country.
His destiny is to be a 4 seed who loses to the best 1 seed and their best team in the country. It's Florida.
Yeah, guards win. I love the 3-headed monster from Florida. I also think they have the size to bang with Maryland's size in the starting 5. I really, really, really like Florida, and I'll quit bitching one day that I think their bracket's too tough, but I do like Florida.
All right.
And I hate how popular Florida's become.
Florida's
I took
very
Florida
popular,
in December or in January.
I know.
You took Florida in
17-1.
No shit.
I have them at 10-1.
But now everyone's going to take them.
I know. They're 4.5-1, I think, when last I saw.
It's the same shit you have with St. John's, which is like you were early to the party, and now it's just like, oh, Titus going chalk, dude. St. John's.
Fuck, dude, I forgot I said.
Titus
I forgot in the preseason I said St. Okay, so help me out. Help me out with this. This is a content play.
Mm-hmm.
This is a content play.
Mm-hmm.
I have clips of me out there in the preseason saying St. John's to the Final Four.
Which is extremely valuable.
Extremely valuable. That's great. Those are great clips.
One of the
to
best
have.
things you can have out.
Those should have been flying the past couple weeks.
Cody, are these clips flying? That's a
Let's
no.
fly some clips.
Can we fly some
Cody,
clips?
fly the
Goddamn.
clips, Cody.
You know how
We're
rare
the guys. We're telling you.
You know how rare it is?
saying it.
The only other guy is Rick, and he's not here. He's nowhere to be found. He's in a ditch somewhere crying.
R.I.P. Rick.
You know how rare it is for me to be right, and I was right about that.
You were right.
Like
and there's no better feeling than being right.
Oh my God, we gotta put the word out that I was right on this.
Fly some clips.
So what's better for content?
Yep.
I double down and I take St. John's here, and I just say I got to stick with what I said in the preseason, or I diversify.
I was gonna say.
I pick St. John's to lose. That way, either way I win.
So one thing that I learned from watching.
Either way I win. If St. John's goes to the Final Four, we got the clips. If they don't, I have it in my bracket.
The one thing I learned from growing up watching Woody Page and Skip Bayless is that if you take two sides of it, you're always right.
You're always right.
You have already taken the one side. You're right on that side. If you take St. John's to lose, you're right.
Okay, so you got the angel on that shoulder. You
Okay,
got the devil on that
devil,
shoulder.
Reeks. Help me out.
You're a man that has been in this business for many years.
That's right.
I've talked to you. I've listened to you. I've seen your work. You have doubled down on Virginia winning a national title.
Great point, Riggs. This is a great
You
point.
have doubled down on Houston not being a real to ever win a title before they haven't won.
Mm-hmm.
You've doubled down on John Calipari.
You're right.
Out of town.
You're right.
You've doubled down on Hunter Dickinson.
You're right, Riggs. God damn it.
You're a
right.
double down
I'm
man.
a double down man.
Double down.
Double down man. I'm doubling down on St. John's over Texas Tech.
Texas Tech over here.
Give me Texas Tech.
Wait. What the fuck?
He just bamboozled you.
What the fuck?
We just won the pool, Reeks.
Hey, St. John's, it's your time. Now is your Cody. Are you gonna clip this? Are we gonna put this in the drafts? This is St. John's moment. It is their time. There's something magical going on in New York. Rick Pitino is the greatest coach in college basketball history. He just doesn't have quite the trophy case to prove it. I think he's adding to the trophy case. I think St. John's is going to the Final Four. They're cutting down some more nets. They've already added the Big East regular season and the Big East tournament. Give me St. John's to beat Texas Tech, and I guess I kind of did just push them all the way to the Final Four.
I don't want to cut your.
Sorry.
I didn't want to cut you off there. One clip that you might want to have out there, if you just want to spit this out, is I said it before the season. I'm saying it again.
Okay,
now. Yep.
just edit this in post. I said it before the season, and I'm saying it now on March 16th. St. John's to, and then you add
We'll do
the Elite Eight, the Final Four, the Sweet 16, the National Championship. They are St. John's to be your national champion. Now just work with that.
Whichever one is right.
Work with that.
Let it fly.
Very good job. Just Quiggs. If no one else at this company can, Quiggs can. He can make that work.
Quiggs will also put 1,000 things on you.
Quiggs should just make me say, I've said it once. I've said it a million times. I'm gay.
Just clip that.
Yeah.
Fuck! I just made his job
there
easy.
you go.
I got Duke, Oregon in the Sweet 16. It's Duke. It's going to be Duke. I'm not even going to have to think about Duke until the Final Four. Full disclosure, I have Duke. I think crazier things have happened, but I would be far more surprised to see Duke not make the Final Four than I think Duke has a better chance of winning the national championship than not making the Final Four is what I would say. I think it's far greater chance that they actually just go all the way than it is that they trip up before the Final Four, especially with the bracket that I'm looking at. Give me Duke to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I really
That's
like
a no-brainer.
one thing that Duke has here is no matter who comes out of that other pod that they're about to play, someone is coming all the way from the West, all the way to the East. Duke's already better than them. I like Duke. Reeks, stop.
I wrote
Reeks.
down Arizona first.
No, you didn't.
Card
Laid's a card.
I crossed it off as I was writing it. I got to the end and crossed it out because I'm.
So you wrote down Arizona.
I got to Arizona.
That's not full. That's not
You two
full.
are both dominating the if I wasn't like a pussy.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
fucking shit.
You're-
dude.
Yeah, dude.
Welcome to the biz, bro.
We're old.
Yeah.
This is what we do.
I've done this a time or two.
Man, I really want
Because you
to
can
take
see,
them,
because
but
the whole
damn it.
point of filling out a bracket is like doing shit that you can see, and you can see it all. You can see it all. Close
Fuck it,
your
I'm
eyes.
taking Arizona.
Yes!
Arizona.
Yes,
Go, Reeks.
we did it.
There we go. Rick.
No rhyme or reason except I am worried about Cooper Flagg. Even if he returns, I'm worried about what do we get out of Cooper Flagg? Can he do the turnaround? Because without him, like I know they beat Louisville and they came back, but like you beat the 8 seed. you're not the same team. And Malik Brown being out, there's a lot of question marks about that health. Just give me Arizona. Why not? Arizona.
Love it.
I love it.
Fucking love it. Spice it up a little bit. I have BYU Bama, another fun matchup, offensive-minded matchup. A lot of points on the board. Take the over, as they say in the biz. I have gone chalk all the way. I've done 1-2, 1-2, 1 so far. I'm now staring at a BYU Bama game that I think is a favorable matchup for BYU in the sense that they're going to be very comfortable playing up and down and maybe playing in a game where there's a little bit of an absence of defense. Not that either one of these teams are horrendous defensively, but obviously offense is the strong suit for both of them. I want to shake things up. So I'm going to shake things up by being extremely predictable and picking Alabama. Sometimes the most madness is the lack of madness. Sometimes the craziest thing that can happen is the thing everyone saw coming.
So I will go crazy.
Give me the 2 seed.
I will keep with that trend. Give me Wisconsin. I know I'm going crazy with the 3 seed, but Alabama is Grant Nelson healthy. We saw him leave the game. He didn't return, right? I don't think he returned.
Oh, no, he didn't. No.
So,
banged up. That's right.
Mark Sears got a little ankle injury. He hasn't looked
right
the last couple of games at all either. It's also really hard to come off a Final Four, have these high expectations, and truly live up to it.
And do it again, yeah.
So give me Wisconsin.
Talk me through this one, Titus. So I have Wisconsin, Alabama, because I want to see it.
Yeah.
And on the court, I would say Alabama probably has the better basketball team.
Yeah.
I think they're deeper.
A lot of threes going to be shot in that game.
A lot of threes are going to be shot. But in that cave.
What the fuck?
Hello?
I don't know if that was like a sound effect or what.
That seems like a bad omen.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was just my Dale Earnhardt 7-time champion car hood.
Shit out of me.
I'm going to come clean. A lot of times in that cave, we act like things that someone does affects the game that's like 2,000 miles away. Like, sit down. You were sitting down when. But when it's Big Cat versus Rico Bosco in the Sweet 16, and Big Cat gets in Rico's head in there.
You do think it's going to affect them?
That's going to matter.
That's going to matter, yeah.
How much is it going to matter? Rico Bosco is going to snap.
He's going to snap,
pressure.
yeah. It's again, this is an exercise in what do you see? When you close your eyes, do you see Rico Bosco taking a bus to San Antonio, or do you see him
He took a bus to Chicago.
That's actually huge.
flying first class
He's not gonna
and
do
cackling at the pump party and saying, like, I win?
Gotcha, boys.
Yeah, I got you.
No, because Dan and Dave have won over and
over. And
now, but
over
this is
over.
not the bus game. This is the game to get.
I
to
know.
the bus
That's
game.
true. Good point.
I just think that like I think Big Cat is going to be able to like get in Nate Oates' head before the game, which will then get in Rico. But I just think this will be the all-time content game. I can't see Rico beating Wisconsin, but I can't see Wisconsin beating Alabama. I'm going Alabama, but I'm excited to watch it happen.
You pussies.
I know.
You fucking.
I don't have.
You're such a pussy.
As I have a 4-3 lead.
What a pussy,
I know.
Tate.
I
What
know.
a pussy.
I know.
You're such a pussy. We have Houston versus Clemson in my bracket in the Sweet 16. Defensive battle. Goddamn.
I'm gonna look like Jay Williams here soon. Fuck.
But
the top end is such the top.
The top end is the top end. The top end is the top end.
That's why they was.
That's why they're so good. The numbers back this up. We're not just pulling this out of our ass. I mean,
no,
the numbers back it up. The top four especially are historically better than the rest of the field in a way we've never seen ever. So I have to take Houston, man. I have to take Houston.
Yeah, it's Houston. I don't even think this is a debate for me. Like Dylan Hunter being injured is massive. I don't even care if Juwan Roberts is injured because the gap of what Houston has, what Clemson has, is just so big for me. So Houston.
Yeah. I hate it. I'm about to have my fourth 1 seed make the Elite Eight, but they're just also going to do that.
They are. I genuinely think all 4 1 seeds will make the Elite Eight. And then when they do, we will win. We'll be the fucking winners because everybody else filling out their bracket is saying we got to spice it up here.
You can just look directly at me when you say that.
I needed
everybody else is fucking trying to be cute.
I needed to hear that because we talked about earlier. This is my first public bracket. This is my first March Madness where I'm giving up. Everyone's gonna be like, "You're a pussy," but also, hey, let me tell you why the number 1 seeds are the number 1 seeds, because we have 4 really, really fucking good teams.
Yeah,
Houston.
I have Kentucky, Tennessee. I have so far picked 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and 1.
And here's the thing: I know for a fact you think Tennessee's gonna win that game.
I think Tennessee and Kentucky have played twice already. Do I have that right? Twice already this season. Kentucky won both games?
Correct.
It is very difficult to beat a team 3 times. You almost never see it. When's the last time one team has beaten another team 3 times in college basketball?
History of the world?
In history. Has it happened? Has it ever happened?
Pretty sure never.
It never, ever happens. I think this is the moment we look back on and we say, holy fucking shit, this tournament broke wide open. I think Kentucky beats Tennessee a 3rd time, shocks the world, and a 3 seed makes it to the Elite 8. And it's 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-3.
So I have Kentucky UCLA, which I don't
Makes
know.
it easy.
I don't even know how I got here, but I did. Yeah, give me Kentucky over UCLA in Indianapolis. That's going to be a Kentucky home game. Again, it just comes down to the Lamont Butlers there. Like, the bracket does kind of break for Kentucky, assuming they get past Troy. I'll take, Houston, Kentucky is my Elite 8.
Titus, I have bad news for you. The chat is reminding me that Duke actually beat North Carolina 3 times.
Oh, they did?
It's been.
Oh, it does happen?
No, it happened 2 days ago.
Oh, it happened 2 days ago?
They're letting us know that also
no
Alabama
shit.
beat Kentucky. It has happened.
Oh, it's
before.
happened? Oh, so it's not that crazy of a pick to pick Kentucky to beat Tennessee?
Not that crazy.
Oh, shit. Shit, man.
I'm starting. The problem with my bracket right now is I'm doing things I want to see, and we've been talking about it all year that we would just love to see a Houston-Tennessee game.
Yeah.
And I have the opportunity to do it, and I also have the opportunity to call in sick to the stream and go watch it in Indianapolis. I'm going to do that. That's going to be Tennessee-Houston, and that's going to be an over-under of 122.5.
Brutal game.
But
Brutal game,
also
well played. It'll actually be a well played fun game, but it'll a lot of people will be upset watching.
So can we do a quick total of
Reset.
of I want
Reset.
a total of seats.
Total of seeds. I have 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-3.
I have I'll counter your 1-2.
So I have a total of 13.
I have 1-2, 1-3, 1-2, 1-2.
With an asterisk that says if I wasn't a pussy, I would have picked Louisville over Auburn.
I have
With an asterisk.
1-2, 1-3, 4-3, 1-3.
So I'm 13, you're 13, and you're like
I'd be.
Let me figure out where my biggest regret. My biggest regret. It's Louisville over Auburn. I wanted to do Louisville over Auburn.
I'm at 18.
If I could redo it, maybe I'd do Wisconsin over BYU and then Bama, and have Wisconsin in the Elite 8.
I was putting whoever BYU, Wisconsin in the Elite 8 no matter what.
Trying to think, maybe
BYU, Wisconsin. I'm sorry.
maybe I should have done Gonzaga over Houston, but no.
I would.
No, I got to stick with what I'm not going to apologize for being right, and I think I'm right.
Right.
That's basically what it is. I think I'm fucking right, and I'm not going to apologize for that. I think the 1 seeds are way better than everybody else, and for that reason, I have 1 seeds going to the Elite 8. All right, let's do it. Final 4 picks. Here we go. I have Auburn, Michigan State in the South. I think it's chalk in the South. I think Auburn plays Michigan State, and it's a 1-2 matchup. It's a team that looked like the best team in the country all year versus kind of a team of destiny, low-key team of destiny. Michigan State, for a while there, it felt like they were racking up wins because their schedule was favorable. Not the sole reason, but it that helped a little bit. They won 13 in a row, I think, at one point. Mm-hmm. But they were playing the lesser teams in the Big Ten, and we wanted to see what would happen when they have to go up against the big boys. When they start punching, they're fighting against the guys in their weight class, I should say. And then they answered the bell. They won 8 straight, I think, quad 1 games before losing to Wisconsin in the Big Ten tournament in a thrilling game that came down to the last shot, and Wisconsin blocks a shot and whatever. So Michigan State, despite not winning the Big Ten tournament, I think Michigan State is still a red-hot basketball team. Auburn is not hot, certifiably not hot, despite being the number 1 overall seed. I have said all season that maybe I don't remember how often I've said it on air, but Cody, you can back this up. I've texted you about the dream Final Four. Having Rick Pitino and having Tom Izzo in my Final Four is a dream of mine. It's right there for the taking. I think Michigan State. I think it's a Tom Izzo masterclass. I think he goes to San Antonio and he gets his dick sucked for the entire week for being Mr. March. I think this is a Tom Izzo Renaissance season where, remember the Amani Bates? You remember it better than Tate probably does.
Cavs legend. Whoa.
Amani Bates.
Cavs legend.
Amani Bates committed to Michigan State, and I was working at Fox at the time, and they had me do an emergency selfie video where I was just like, this changes everything. And then Amani Bates decommits and goes to Memphis, and I remember sitting in my thoughts and feelings, and I said, this might be it for Tom Izzo. He might be done. I think this new era of college basketball might fucking kill the man. I think he might not be able, like, Amani Bates was a guy they were recruiting since he was like 4 years old, and he commits to Michigan State, and like he has him in the bag, and he's gonna be the next LeBron James. And then at the last second, he flips and goes to Memphis. I was like, Tom Izzo is never going to want to coach in this shit. He's going to be done. And this year has been the Tom Izzo Renaissance. And I think the way this story ends for me is that Tom Izzo makes it to the Final Four and just gets sucked the entire week.
It's
leading up to the Final
2019
Four.
all over again.
Yeah.
That's how it felt when he made it in 19.
Give me Michigan State to the Final Four over Auburn.
I like that, and I want that for you.
And I've been saying I think Auburn's going to crash out. Auburn's going to have a crash out. I've just been too much of a pussy to make it happen earlier.
Here's my pick. I want Michigan State to win. I want Tom Izzo to be there. The one thing I will say to the Mark Tituses of the world that have been saying that Auburn is crashing out, that Auburn is dying down the stretch is, when did the decline start? The decline started after they clinched the SEC regular season title. That Texas A&M game that they lost hand-to-hand or wire-to-wire by 11 points at Texas A&M, they had already clinched the SEC regular season title. I am banking on the fact that the team for the first 4 months of the season that was the most dominant team in college basketball, one of the best resumes of all time, I think they still have it. I think that if Auburn matched up with Michigan State, I think Auburn wins that game pretty handily. I think Auburn wins. I would like to see Tom Izzo in the Final Four. Auburn is a better team than Michigan State.
And I got the Maui title game rematch, Auburn-Iowa State. Same thing. I think Auburn, I get what you're saying about the crash out, and they kind of did peak a little early, and I do have some concerns about them. But this bracket, this region,
it's a favorable bracket.
I can't find the matchup that I want to pick against Auburn, so give me Auburn.
Pussies. Picking a 1 seed in your Final Four. I picked Michigan State. You guys picked Auburn. I have Florida St. John's.
This might be the most intriguing Mark Titus pick of the whole show.
God damn it.
Good start.
Damn it. I mean, yeah. I mean, in a vacuum, it's Florida. It's obviously Florida. Florida's playing better than St. John's, even though St. John's is on an absolute tear. Florida's doing it in the SEC, and I think Florida has as good as St. John's is. There are questions around St. John's. St. John's, like, also this run that they're on. They get down a lot and they come back. It's something they're very comfortable doing, but it's not like they're, despite being dominant, they're not dominatingly dominant. Put that on the scorecard. They're not dominatingly dominant. They get down a lot. They have to, incite the chaos and get the press going and force the turnovers and get the other team to clinch their butthole a little bit. And that's kind of their MO. Florida has been, like, actually, when you think about a dominant basketball team, that's what they've kind of been. They obviously are not undefeated. They've had some slip-ups along the way, but they have no weaknesses whatsoever. I love this Florida team just like everybody else does. I have a set of eyeballs just like everybody else that's been watching this SEC tournament, and I'm seeing what everyone else is seeing. I fucking love Florida. And I think the clips are already out there of me saying Rick Pitino, but Reek said double down. But Reek said double down right before he pulled the okie doke on me.
Riggs has his own bracket.
You double
Remember
down.
that.
Riggs does have his own bracket.
You're a double down man. That's what I was saying. You've doubled down repeatedly.
I've been riding with St. John's since the preseason. Since the preseason, I picked St. John's to the Final Four. I said, who did I say that? I said Bama. I said Duke. I said fucking
St. John's, and you said
St. John's, and
I believe you said UConn. You did.
UConn. I think those were my 4 Final Four picks. I said St. John's was my crazy pick. I thought that they were not as at the time they were not a chalk pick.
Correct.
They were an off the beaten path pick. They're now turning into a little bit of a chalk pick. But now that I'm staring at St. John's in Florida, guess what? They're back to an off the beaten path upset pick. Give me St. John's. Give me Rick Pitino and Tom Izzo in the Final Four together. I want it so badly. I want it so fucking badly that I'm going to manifest it. And Rick Pitino is going to play Bill Self and St. John's on the way to.
This is how I know we're getting old, because we're just sound like our dads being like, you know what, this Rick Pitino Tom Izzo coaching matchup.
Give me nostalgia.
What the game needs.
I want it so badly.
I am so conflicted on this. Florida, Texas Tech. I have filled out my other two Final Fours on this side. On one hand, I want to take Florida because they look like the best team in the country. They are hot. They are everything that we have said over and over and over again. Texas Tech, I don't know, like they have a brutal draw. You could tell me they slip up against Missouri, St. John's, whoever to get there. But is it actually bold to just go with what everyone's saying with Florida?
Is
like,
it
are we
bold
really going to
to
get
do
a Florida Auburn Final Four game?
I think we might actually. I do think that's the most likely scenario.
All right,
I think
give me
that's actually
Florida.
the
Give me
most
Florida.
likely.
Give me Florida. Give me
I
Florida.
think honestly that's probably the.
I originally was going to go Texas Tech in the final.
So to be clear, you took 2 1 seeds.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Pussy.
Yeah, for me, this Florida.
You don't have a 4 seed in the Elite Eight.
This Florida story to me is interesting because they're 30-4. They just won the SEC tournament. They're the trendy pick, and I think Todd Golden is still able to play the card of like we're disrespected. Like they put us in this group of death. We're the 4th number 1 seed. What have we done to be the 4th number 1 seed? I honestly think if we went blind resume right now, and I assigned you the argument of defending Florida, I think you could. I could do it very easily, very well.
Very easily.
I love their backcourt. I did take them at the end of December. I am taking the Florida Gators, and I do think if you close your eyes and said, is Auburn going to play Florida in the Final Four? Yes.
The answer is yes. The answer is just yes.
It does feel like this is why this day is the best day. It feels like one of two ways. You have the loaded SEC Elite Eight Final Four after being the best conference in America, or they crash out.
In the SEC, I'm looking at it now. I have 4 SEC teams in my Elite Eight.
Mm-hmm.
Each of them, and none of them play each other. So they're each in.
You got a chance. I have a chance.
Game. And I mean, I'll just get to the next game. I got Duke Bama. It's Duke. It's obviously Duke. I've already said everything there's to say about Duke. I'll say it again though. Duke is a team without flaws. Duke is playing insanely good basketball. There are three maybe issues with Duke. There are 3. It's the health of Cooper Flagg and Malik Brown. It is the fact that they rely so heavily on freshmen, and you wonder, in a crunch time situation, having less experience to draw on, and not only just freshmen, but like a freshman-ish coach,
right?
Not a
Never
full
been to a
blown
Final Four.
Not a full blown new coach, but he's new to dealing with these expectations year in and year out, and he hasn't been to a Final Four yet and all that. And number 3, the schedule, which I think is being overblown a little bit, but it is a fair point that they have not played a team of their caliber now in a long time, because they did play Auburn, and I think a lot of people are like, I want to see what would happen if Duke actually plays like an elite team. We saw it; they handled Auburn pretty easily
at Cameron.
It was at Cameron. But I think those are the only issues with Duke. I think the schedule stuff is overblown because that's more of a concern you have with a team that you're worried about how talented their players actually are. Duke, that is not a concern whatsoever. They're fucking loaded at every position. They have 5 stars. They flip their couch coaches over and they find 5 stars in draft picks that you haven't even heard of that are just awesome. I think Duke is a team with very few weaknesses, and if every team in this tournament brings their A game, Duke will win the national championship. So I have Duke going to the Final Four.
So I have Wisconsin-Arizona, which... If you remember, the best game Wisconsin may have played all year was against Arizona.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Tanji had 42, I think.
Yeah.
41, something
He
like
scored
that.
103 points, right?
Yeah. That's when I started really noticing, like, oh, Wisconsin actually plays offense. Like, this isn't.
I thought it was a fluke.
Yeah, not even like the 2015 Wisconsin where they were very efficient with Decker and Kaminsky in that group. They get this group gets up and down, and I don't know if I'm just been in Chicago for too many days now, but I love this Wisconsin team. Give me Wisconsin. This feels like a Wisconsin Final Four team. When I watch them, they have the look. They are healthy again. They play 9 guys. They have their All-American. They have their second guy in Blackwell. Klesman's back. Every single guy seems like they can shoot the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Wisconsin in the Final Four.
Okay, I have Duke, Alabama, which would be the bus game. And 100 times out of 100, Rico Bosco loses that bus game. With that being said, I do think there is something to be said, aside from the fact that Duke beat Auburn. Aside from the fact that Duke beat Auburn, there are other non-conference games. They lost to Kentucky very early. We all did the show afterwards. They lost to Kansas. And then they have kicked the absolute piss out of the ACC. Kicked the absolute piss out of them. The committee is telling us, I don't know what the committee's telling us, because they're telling us that Clemson's not very good, and they're telling us that Louisville's not very good, but then we're supposed to sit here and believe that Duke is really, 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 really good. I have said that I believe in the SEC. I am going to roll with the SEC. I am taking the Alabama Crimson Tide to beat Duke and pencil in my third SEC team.
I was going to
back-to-back Final Fours for Bama, you say.
I'll tell you guys.
Shout out Coach Bosco.
Whoever I picked between BYU and Wisconsin, I was putting in the Final Four out of that bracket.
Wow.
I think
Final Four game. I like that.
How do you feel being of the triumvirate here, the only one with Duke going to the Final Four?
I feel like I'm right.
Yeah, you feel good.
Yeah,
I feel pretty fucking good.
Yeah,
probably pretty fucking
good.
stupid.
I feel like I picked the team that's favored to win the national championship to go to the Final Four, and both of you didn't.
Yeah, you idiot.
I feel pretty good. Houston, Kentucky.
You want me to start?
Yeah, you go ahead and start.
Great season, boys. It's Houston.
It is Houston, yeah.
It's Houston. I love this Houston team. Look, Kentucky.
Logo matchup, by the way. Exact same logo.
Yeah, they can have it.
Have
I will lose this game if they take if we can get a better logo.
Exact same logo.
Or switch logos. It sucks. It just, again, Houston defense, everything about it. Also some revenge from the Tyler Hero Sweet 16
That's
game
right.
a few years ago. So, yeah, give me Houston. Great season, boys. Mark Pope will get him back.
I think this rise of Houston basketball is starting to culminate in a moment. I don't know if they're ever going to get over the hump and win the national championship, but they've made one Final Four. It was a Mickey Mouse Final Four. Houston fans, once they go to another Final Four, they'll look back on that one and admit that it was a Mickey Mouse Final Four. They played nothing but double-digit seeds. It was COVID. It was a COVID tournament where like everything was just out of whack and fucking stupid and didn't make any sense. Yeah. And Oregon State's going to Elite Eight and shit like that. So I'm still waiting on the actual culmination of this Houston run, and I think we get it with a legitimate trip to the Final Four, and they beat Kentucky in the Elite Eight. I'm taking Houston as well.
I have Houston versus Tennessee. I will say of all the 2 seeds, and I did take Alabama to make the Final Four, I like Tennessee's bottom half of the bracket more than anybody. Like I think Tennessee will be in the Elite Eight. I feel really good about Tennessee being in the Elite Eight. I watched a Tennessee team this week that I thought was better than I expected. I like Zakai Ziegler. I think if Lanier's making shots, I think this Tennessee team can score. Not score against Houston, but it's going to be a defensive slugfest.
Both teams are going to be comfortable.
Both teams
are going to like it.
Both teams are going to like it, and I am going to roll with Tennessee, and I'm going to have
You have the
4
SEC semifinals.
SEC. Remember that SEC. When you say that I'm a homer during football season, you remember who had your back during basketball. SEC.
Get the SEC semifinals.
Tate. Yeah, I do.
Say your teams again.
Auburn, Florida, Alabama, Tennessee.
What? Huh?
I told you.
SEC Tate.
I have told you all year that I am going
you had literally 4 SEC.
Yeah.
I am going to go back to Thanksgiving when we're doing our show, and I said, remember this feeling. The SEC is on top of the world. They have pounded everybody, and now they're going to beat the shit out of each other. I'm telling you.
What an insane.
What if the madness is it's one conference, 1 and 2?
I mean, honestly, that would be shocking. As great as the conference was, if they get 4 teams to the Final Four, I'd be stunned.
And it's the Ohio guy taking it.
And it's the fucking Ohio. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, let's do it. Let's finish this thing out. I have Michigan State St. John's. I got Tom Izzo versus Rick Pitino. Like I said, Tom Izzo is Mr. March. He is not Mr. April. Once he gets to San Antonio, I think this is going to be a fun game, and that it'll be fast paced. There'll be a lot of defense played, a lot of fun dunks, a lot of guys dunking on each other. No 3-point shooting to be found anywhere probably in this game.
Doesn't matter.
Does not matter. It'll be a ton of fun. 2 legendary Hall of Fame coaches going up against each other. I think St. John's gets it done though. I feel like the story. If I'm going with the stories, which I am on this side of the bracket, by putting Izzo and Pitino in the Final Four. I feel like Izzo's story ends with another Final Four because he's already won his one national championship. I know Patina's won national championship, but Tom Izzo's a Final Four guy. That's what he's known for doing. He's known for going to the Final Four. He's Mr. March. He's going to get there. Rick Pitino, I do think that St. John's, it's going to be I think St. John's feels a little more comfortable with the chaos, which is crazy to say because Michigan State does look really comfortable with it as well. But I think that the way this game is going to unfold is going to favor St. John's, and I think St. John's is going to win. And part of that is that I badly just want Rick Pitino in the national championship. So St. John's.
Awesome. White suit national title?
White suit national championship. You're goddamn right.
That'd be incredible. I have Florida Auburn on the left side here. I hate that I have the All SEC Final Four and my two top teams are playing each other. Yep. I think that sucks. I don't like that out of the committee, Titus. Why can't we have
pre-seed?
Like, Auburn and Florida are the top two teams in the SEC. That's why they're the one seeds.
So
why don't we have
reshuffling?
Them? Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Well,
I'm not saying no.
1-4.
I'm not saying reshuffle. I'm saying, hey, let's make Florida the number 3 overall seed. No one would have batted an eye.
Oh,
and
that's
you
what
could
you're
allow
saying.
them to play in the national title.
Houston would have batted an eye.
Don't care.
Put Duke, put Duke at the 4 seed.
As an SEC guy, don't care. Florida. I think Florida's the hottest team in the
another
country.
SEC guy. Another SEC team.
I think Florida's the best team in the country. I think that guards win. They have the best guards. I think their posts have shown that they are very more than formidable. Florida, I said it at the end of December. Say it now. Florida.
Yeah, I have Florida Auburn here as well. And I have Florida going to the national title game. I love Walter Clayton. I think he's going to take the Mark-Titus All-American first-team snub to heart.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, you got to go with the information you have in front of you at the time you have it. Hell of an SEC tournament. I mean,
pretty good.
Pretty fucking good.
So, he's phenomenal. And then Elijah Martin's the perfect number 2. And like you said, they just have a plethora of depth, and it doesn't matter what type of style you want to play because they are fine with it. Give me them. I think that's the game that maybe we get a little Chad Baker-Mazara freak out. So Florida.
All right, on the other side, I have Duke versus Houston, and I think this is a game that Houston will frustrate the fuck out of Duke. I think this will feel like Duke is being tested. I think there will be moments where there will be people that will say, "This is all I've been waiting for all season, is to see Duke go up against a defense like this, to go up against a culture like this, to go up against a coach like this." I think this will be reminiscent of. It was just, was it last year? It was Tennessee Duke? That was 2 years ago. 2 years ago when Tennessee played Duke and just literally beat the fuck out of him. Kyle Filipowski's got a bloody nose and he's looking at the bench like, what do I do? And like, don't be a pussy, Kyle. Get back out there and play basketball.
He had to check in with his girlfriend first.
That's right. He had to check. Yeah, look in the stands and he's like, honey, they're hurting me. I think Houston's going to do that to Duke in this Final Four game, and I think Duke is still going to overcome that, and Cooper Flagg is going to demonstrate why he's the best goddamn player in this country and is a generational prospect and is so fucking good. And it's not even just him, it's the rest of the team. And I think Duke will have I think there will be a lot of I really, really fucking hate Duke, but I got to tip my cap. Like, that was impressive what they did from people. I think there will be a lot of that from people. That's the kind of game I'm seeing here. Give me Duke to beat Houston in a close one. In a hard-fought game that shows a lot of moxie. I think moxie is going to be the word of the day. I think it's going to be moxie.
I have Alabama, Tennessee. Quick question: why did I pick Alabama to beat Duke?
Yeah, that was dumb.
Because you needed the all 4.
That was dumb because SEC Tate was thinking.
Honestly,
about,
no, it's because I was one seed, and I was going to.
Yeah, no, that's gets in your head, dude.
Gets in your head. But in this situation, if you told me Tennessee was going to play Alabama, that was probably my favorite game of the season. Tennessee, Alabama. Was that was the buzzer beater after Nate Oates got the 5-second call, left with 2 timeouts.
Yeah.
Rick Barnes won the timeout. If Tennessee played Alabama today, I think Tennessee would beat Alabama. I also think that Tennessee is more likely to be in the Final Four than Alabama, who I chose to make the Final Four. So I am taking Tennessee to make the national championship.
Wow.
2 seed.
Wow. So you're
Barnes.
just doing the SEC championship.
Yeah.
In the SEC
we
tournament.
watched that.
Good news is I know who's going to win that game. I just saw it.
We watched it 7 hours ago. I have Wisconsin-Houston in my side. Big culture matchup, like you mentioned. The culture of Houston, Wisconsin kind of has their own basketball culture. Give me Houston. I think this is kind of where Wisconsin the legs catch up to them, everything like that. And I think Houston wins relatively easy.
All right. I have for my national championship St. John's versus Duke.
Can we get it moved to the Garden?
Yeah. If you're asking me, yeah, I would fucking love that. It's Rick Pitino versus Duke. Does Duke own Pitino, or is it just
Krzyzewski
owns Pitino? Does he own him? How many times they didn't really play that often, huh? Well, hold on. Louisville beat Duke in 2013. That was the Kevin Ware game, right?
The ACC.
And then the whole ACC thing. I need a rundown of the record. I need a rundown of the record.
No. Versus Mike Krzyzewski record.
Mike Krzyzewski.
Coach K 10-2 against Pitino.
He was 10-2 again. That's what I thought. I got the
first
feeling
thing that popped up is, are they friends?
I got the feeling that Coach K owned him. I got the feeling that Duke owns Rick Pitino, going all the way back to '92 shot, obviously.
When it started, yep.
I think this is a game that it feels like it might go. St. John's wins the first half, and St. John's has like a nice run where it feels like I can't fucking believe. Like I say it like 8 different times. I can't fucking believe this is gonna happen. I cannot believe that Rick Pitino is really gonna win another national championship with St. John's. And then similar to what Duke did against Houston, I think Duke just like locks in and calms down and settles things in the second half and starts hitting threes and just relaxes and takes care of the ball. And Duke plays a good enough defense on the other end that they shut St. John's down. I've been high on Duke since the moment I saw them play Arizona State in the preseason in a game that does not matter one bit, but they crushed Arizona State. Just fucking like they obliterated it. They set the program back like 10 years, Arizona State's program. I've been fascinated with this Duke team ever since. I think they are the best team in the country, and I think they're going to win the national championship for that reason. So I'm picking Duke to beat St. John's in a game that, for a moment in time, we think, what if with St. John's? We think, what if? But then Duke ultimately wins the game.
When does Coach K rush the sideline and push Shire out of the way?
Yeah, and Coach K,
so he can get
Coach K is there, and he it's so obvious that he's not happy, but he's pretending to be happy. And John Shire wins a national championship, and Coach K is just like trying to. We get like a double fist bump from him, but it's like he's like,
go Duke, go. Why don't we say nice things about our?
And he just kind of like goes like that, and then maybe John Shire just stiff arms him in the face. He's like, Coach, get the fuck out. Let's my program now. Get out of here.
Give me a score.
Score would be in this one. This would be
48-47.
73-67. Duke over St. John's. Done. And I'm done. And my bracket's done. And you know what? I went chalk. I went a lot of chalk.
But you guys never forget Louisville.
Never forget Louisville. If I wasn't a pussy, I would have picked Louisville over Auburn. I went a lot of chalk, but then I tried to spice it up in the final with the Final Fours. You know, where Michigan State and St. John's both advanced. I feel comfortable with my bracket, and I'm going to sleep well tonight. And I don't need any of the haters telling me that I'm a pussy, because I already know I am, and I should have done Louisville over Auburn. Go ahead, Tate.
I have Florida versus Tennessee in the SEC championship and the national championship. Here's what I'll say. I feel very confident, and I said it from when they were 13-0, that Florida has the makings to win a national championship. I think that guards win in March. I absolutely love their guards. And the thing that we've learned throughout the season is that Alex Condon is able to bang. He's tall. He's long. I think that they have every single thing it would take to win a national title. Todd Golden, I know we joked about him. I think we put him on the first 3 fraud power rankings of the year. He is a very good basketball coach. I haven't seen one thing this year that has made me doubt Florida. 3 of their losses were on the road. The one being to Kentucky, 106-100, when it was 2 of the best offensive performances in the entire year. Their one loss at home was to Missouri by 1 back in January. I really like this Florida Gators team. I am going to take the Florida Gators, and I am going to take them by a score of 86-77.
Which is the exact score of the SEC championship?
Yeah, just watch.
This game's going to tip off, and you're going to be like, is this a replay? I've already seen it.
Well, one of my favorite things about Florida and Tennessee meeting in the national championship, that will be the 4th time that they have played this year. Remember, Florida beat them by 30.
Yeah.
Then Tennessee beat them by 20.
That's right.
Then Florida beat them by 9. What if they split the season series? Do they play a rubber match?
2-2?
Rubber match.
Nope. Give me Florida.
All right, I got Houston and Florida in my title game. You mentioned it feels like we're building towards a culmination of what Kelvin Sampson has done at Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the year that I think he does it. This is, again, I can't mention enough how, like, this is not just the boring, slow it down, beat you up Houston team. Their three guards can shoot, they can score. I trust Emmanuel Sharp and LJ Cryer whenever they shoot it. I think Milo Suzanne is going to play in the NBA one day. They have depth. They have guys like JoJo Tugler who just come in and do whatever they need. And they went 19-1 in the Big 12. They dominated that league. I love everything about this Houston team. They're in Texas for the Final Four. This does kind of feel like the Kelvin Sampson is built for this moment. It's paid off. They've had brutal luck in March, whether it's the Shed injury, Tyler Hero shot, Jordan Poole shot, whatever it might be. This is the year I think it finally happens, and I got Houston over Florida by a score of 78-74.
Wow, good game.
Good.
I like everything you said. It all makes sense. And Indiana having to hire a new coach. Indiana missing the tournament, having to hire a new coach as Kelvin Sampson wins a national championship.
He'd be good
might
there.
actually lead white boy Rick to self-harm. All right, there it is. Those are our brackets. Nice 2.5 hour show there, I think.
Do me a favor and submit those, and I'll send you the ESPN link if you can submit that.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, 570 people have entered our bracket
Wow.
contest.
Let's go.
Wow.
It's fucking awesome.
People love brackets.
Hey, listen, I know this show, we do it every year. We're going to do it next year. It's a long show. There's a lot to get through, but it's what it takes, man. We like filling out the brackets live. I like doing a gut reaction, just living with your picks, too. It makes it fun because I'm going to do part of my take tomorrow. I'm just not coming out tomorrow. I'm going to record it Monday. I think it's coming out Wednesday. And I'm going to, they're going to ask me the picks I made, and I'm going to look down at the sheet that I wrote down tonight, and I'm going to just be like, fuck, did I pick St. John's national champion? And then they're going to be like, why did you pick St. John's? And I'm going to be like, I don't know.
No.
You have to go watch my show. I don't know what I was thinking in the moment.
NIT now?
Oh, yeah. Now we're doing our NIT brackets.
And then women's?
Let's do the NIT brackets.
So it's just A10 teams.
It's all A10 teams?
How many? Six?
Is Ohio State going to the Crown? We're not going to the Crown already.
I was reading.
Oh, there's a Dayton region? Dayton's winning it.
I
We're not
read
going to the
I read
Crown.
that Indiana has already declined the crown, and Ohio State is likely to decline the crown.
Well, Rutgers declined all postseason activity, so that
All
just means
activities.
the whole team is transferring or getting
That
drafted.
means, okay, so there's only one thing left to do. Hold on. What am I? Mason didn't make it, huh? George Mason? Yeah, because they lost to VCU. What am I thinking? Yeah, they didn't make it. Who else? I'm going through the tarred and feathered list, by the way.
Liam Blutman just texted me and you, Mark, and said, breaking news, UC Riverside made both the NIT and the CBI.
Wow.
Whoa.
Oh, no shit.
A double bid.
George Mason didn't make it. They were on the list. Utah State is what, a 10 seed? And VCU is an 11, right?
Mm-hmm.
George Mason was out. All right, so here's where the tarred and feathered list stands.
Okay.
Right? Because the last bit of that we had to do was you had to be a top 8 seed. That's the only teams that ever won a national championship have been a top 8 seed, right?
Yep.
So we've crossed off since the last time we did this: San Diego State, Iowa State, because all these teams didn't make conference tourneys or they have too many losses, whatever. San Diego State, Iowa State, Kentucky, Oregon, Purdue, SMU, Texas A&M, UCLA, Wake Forest, Xavier, Bradley, who didn't even make the tournament, Drake, New Mexico, Mississippi State, Arizona, Creighton, George Mason, who didn't make the tournament, Utah State, and VCU have all been crossed off because they're not a top 8 seed or they didn't make their conference semis, which was a rule we added. You understand all this stuff, what I'm saying here. That leaves the following teams, Tate. The teams left are Duke, Auburn, Houston, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, Texas Tech, Wisconsin, Michigan State, Gonzaga, Arizona, Maryland, St. John's, St. Mary's, Clemson, Michigan, Louisville, BYU, Marquette, and UConn. I believe I got that right.
Kentucky's not on there?
Kentucky
We
is
didn't make the semifinals.
not on there. They did not make the conference
That
semifinals.
was my team. Can you read that again,
So
please?
we have how many left? Let me delete these.
This is nerve-wracking.
Dude, let me
That was
let me
my
make
team.
Sure. Let me make sure I get all this right. Okay. Stall. Stall. We never heard from White Boy Rick.
Yeah, hopefully White Boy Rick's okay.
We never heard from him
Is he
at
on his
all.
way?
Short range. Yeah, when White Boy Rick gets here, we'll start the whole process over again and do another 2.5 hours. No, dude. What the fuck? Okay, sort this way. All right. It is Duke, Auburn, Houston, Florida.
Okay.
It is Tennessee, Alabama, Texas Tech, Wisconsin. It is Michigan State, Gonzaga, Arizona, Maryland. St. John's, St. Mary's, Clemson, Michigan, Louisville, BYU, Marquette, UConn. That is our final list of teams that if any of those teams win the national championship, we do not have to be tarred and feathered.
Yep.
I feel very comfortable with that list.
You feel very comfortable.
I feel very comfortable, but tell them, Tate.
Mark has decided that one additional, before the tournament starts, treat for everyone. We must pick a team in the top 4 each.
Yep.
Top 4 seed each. That if they win, individually will get tarred and feathered.
Yeah, I decided to make it individual.
Yeah, that was the just most obvious lack of trust you've ever shown me.
Yeah.
That was like, yeah, you can use my car. Just make sure you get rental insurance.
Yeah, so we're gonna each cross a team off. Cody, you're gonna do one as well, and
I love that. He's last, right?
yeah, he goes last. So I'll go first because it's my show.
Okay, well, time out. You actually agreed that I could go first.
Well, hold on a second. It's my show.
Oh.
It is your show. Guess first. All jokes aside.
Okay, you go first. You go first.
You know what? Why don't you go first?
No, you go first.
Okay, I will.
I want you to go first. So what we're doing is, if you're new to the show, we have the list of teams I just read. If any team outside of that list wins the national championship, we will go to the campus and be tarred and feathered as a unit.
Yep.
And Cody, you will as well, right? Now we are picking one team that has not been crossed off yet, that is a top 4 seed, and this is an individual pick. So Tate, you and you alone, if you cross this team off and they win, you will be going by yourself.
Can I ask one clarifying question? How are you simply doing a top 4 team that you don't believe, or are you giving a little juice behind it? Like, are you picking a team that's like dicey, or are you like, hey, I'm not trying
We'll find out.
I want you to go first.
You go
I want
first.
you to go first.
You can't ask the team in front
You
of you
just
who
said
they're
go
drafting.
first, dude.
Okay, with the first
All right,
pick,
so these are the teams that are eligible to be crossed off, right? And I'm understanding this correctly. Duke, Auburn, Houston, Florida, Tennessee, Bama, Texas Tech, Wisconsin, Michigan State, Arizona, Maryland, St. John's.
Yep.
I think that's it.
Yep.
Because the other, like Iowa State and Kentucky, have already been crossed off.
Which would be a
Who else?
trio.
Yeah. Texas A&M was already crossed off. Purdue was already crossed off. So those are the only teams you have. All right? There's 13 to choose from
With the first selection
out of
in
16.
the tarred and feather final draft, I defer to Mark Titus.
There's no way.
I deferred. I won the toss.
way.
I deferred.
You don't get to defer during a draft.
I want to know.
Hey, I want to go to bed. I want to go
Maryland.
I want to go home.
Maryland. I picked Maryland. I picked
I was
Maryland.
going to take Maryland.
I picked Maryland.
All right. Tate is taking Maryland. Maryland has been crossed off only on Tate's list.
Yep.
If Maryland wins the national championship, I do not have to do anything. I have to point and laugh at Tate with the rest of the Maryland fans. All right? I'm crossing off. Should I do St. John's? That'd be funny. I am crossing off. There's one obvious one to me, and it's I'm going to do Arizona.
Yep.
Arizona's
that
the
was-
obvious one. It's the 4 seed. They're the 4 seed. They're in Duke's region. I think Duke's the best team. I think Duke's going to win it all. They're going to have to play.
They're going to lose to them, you idiot.
I think. Yeah, and if they don't lose to Duke, they're going to lose to Bama. Like, the Arizona has a gauntlet to run through. I'm fine with Arizona.
you're totally
I'll cross Arizona off. Arizona's my cross-off team. They're not winning the national championship. Cody?
Now this is where it gets interesting.
Cody, you have Duke, Auburn, Houston, Florida, Tennessee, Bama, Texas Tech, Wisconsin, Michigan State, or St. John's to choose from.
If you're going to piss like a puppy, stay on the porch and let the big dogs eat. Give me Florida.
Oh! What? Florida.
Oh my God. Oh, my God.
What?
Oh,
Cody is going to be covered in feathers.
Oh, you crazy for that one, Cody.
Riggs, it's not the feathers. It's the tar.
Yeah, well, but the feathers go on top.
Reese, you saying he's already tarred?
He might be.
He's a tard. He's
gotta
gonna
get a feather?
Jesus.
Oh, my God. Cody, bringing the heat.
This is March.
This is March.
It
This
is March.
motherfucking March. Hey, so thank you to any sickos that stuck around for the entire show. God bless you. It's a fun show for us. I don't know how you guys at home enjoy it. Hopefully you enjoy watching us make fools of ourselves as we try to make sense.
The chat is going nuts over Cody.
Oh, dude, Cody picking Florida's fucking crazy. Oh,
He just wants to go to Gainesville.
he does,
He just
dude.
wants-
That's all he
knew
wants.
it.
You could have picked a lot better options.
He's gonna be gone for a week. He's gonna take a week off to get tarred and feathered. God bless you for those of you watching. We're going to be back. We're going to be live every night after games are played, with the exception of the playing games. We're not going to do Tuesday and Wednesday because it is a marathon. We don't want to go live Tuesday and Wednesday. We want to go live. We're going to go live for the first time Thursday night after the last game, or sometime around then, because it's what, Wilmington versus Texas
Wilmington,
Tech?
Texas Tech.
So we might go,
But
sometime
there was
during the
one.
second
What
half.
was it?
Liberty,
Kansas, Arkansas.
Oh yeah, we have to wait for that game next.
No, that's at 7.
Okay.
But point is, we're going to be doing live shows every night after NCAA tournament games. So if it's a crazy day of basketball, which it
was
certainly
Michigan,
will be,
UC San Diego.
come watch us. Come watch us talk about it. Have fun with us. We'll be losing our minds just like all of you guys are, and that's the plan for the entire tournament. So, yeah, thanks for watching this. The bracket is out. Good luck to everybody. Join our one last time. I'll plug our bracket pool on ESPN. Search Mostly Sports Bracket Challenge, something like that. Go find it. Submit your own bracket. See if you can do better than we are going to do.
Probably will.
Goodbye, everybody.